know exactly what I did. I hit the wrong button.
What's up, everybody?
Oh
My
no, that's not better.
my bad. So I did a goof. I was trying to be professional and like I switched over my background as well as all the names in studio mode. And when I went to go to click off studio mode, instead of clicking off studio mode, I just hit stop stream. So
Oh,
that's something you don't want to do because it stops the stream. But we're back. Don't worry.
you
It's
silly
a very
Billy.
clean break. You know, I'm really overemphasizing the clean break between, the one stream and the next stream. So if you want to watch it on the VOD differently, now you can. That's exactly what I meant to do by it, not a mistake.
It
So
was
shut up.
completely intentional.
All on
Don't mind it.
Yes.
So now we are getting into our second game of the day, and that is
Kaiju girls.
So,
Bye.
it is
Ohio,
called
much
Kaiju
this.
Girls. And what Kaiju Girls is the party is just your mild-mannered teenage girl dealing with all sorts of just standard teenage girl drama. But they have a dark side. When they get too stressed, they turn into kaiju-like creatures that may or may not do good or do bad. Who knows? But it is uncontrollable, it is unpredictable, and it's thoroughly going to ruin my narrative whenever it does happen. But I will give a little bit of an intro, and then we'll jump in with character intros and things like that. So in Kaiju Girls, similar to Battle Wizards, I will set a difficulty. That difficulty, in order to get rid of it, in order to succeed or challenge a task, they will have X amount of D6s based on either just their inherent talents. If they roll a 5 or a 6 on that talent, it subtracts by the challenge rating by 1, basically. So if you have 3 die and each one is a 5 or a 6, you subtract 3 from the challenge. Once the challenge hits zeros, the challenge is completed. So it's basically they have to keep going and trying to solve the challenge until it's finally completed. But every time if they don't roll a 5 or a 6 at all, they get a stress die. When you get a stress die, you roll that stress die whenever you just roll die inherently. If you ever get a 1 on that stress die, you transform. You either transform from schoolgirl to kaiju or kaiju to schoolgirl. No, there's no way of controlling it. If they want to really succeed at something, they can purposely take stress die and try to see if it nets them additional bonuses. Or maybe it just transforms them early. But we'll go through this whenever we get into rolls. So with that, I will go into a little bit of an intro. So our camera zooms in on a large school, a prep school, a well-off school on very large ground set outside of a city. It is a school called Sacred Heart Academy, located on the outside of Isoncaster City. This is a major coastal city that actually has a mountain range that forms the other boundary of it. So if you would imagine, there is the ocean, a beach, the suburbs, and the city, and then a mountain range that kind of like frames it all in, and then it goes into the inlet or the countryside of it all. It's a magical world that somehow, some way, the GM made to have every single type of terrain possible for reasons. You would find every walks of life at this school. You have those from the country, you have those from the city, you have the rich, the poor, the obtuse, the popular, the sporty, the gothic. Everyone that you could ever imagine inhabits this school at any one given time. It isn't the only school, but it is the biggest school. On this campus, you find all sorts of things. You find libraries, athletic complexes, cafeterias, classrooms, theaters, science labs, like anything any busy student could ever want. It is a school it's a school that is just like any other school in wherever you may be from. There is challenges, there are obstacles, there is drama. There's lots of drama. Oh boy, is there drama.
So much drama.
And these 5 find themselves in probably the most of it out of anyone at this school, which is very unfortunate for them. But we actually meet our 5 starting casts in the cafeteria. It's midday, it's right at lunch. You know, the bell just rung as the 5 before you. Some of them might have lunch trays full of food, some of them might have food from home. But they're just getting out of the lunch line. They're standing in a little bit of a group together, and they're looking around this cafeteria, trying to figure out where they will sit. So the cafeteria itself is framed by 2 giant lunch lines of all sorts of just school food. There's pizza, there's mac and cheese, there's chicken nuggets. There's some food externally that's shipped in from a restaurant, but it's all kind of mirrored by either side, but it's 2 massively large lunch lines that always come out to one end as you go to check out. You pay your meal. If you want to get extra food, you can. You pay the extra price. But the cafeteria itself is actually very nice. It actually has, it's, one whole side of it is just windows that looks out onto the mountains that frame the backside of the school. There's actually a balcony out back or on that side too. So if you look at the giant wall windows, you can open 2 double doors, go outside, and there's actually school tables outside or lunch tables outside that you can sit at as well. But both inside and out, the lunch tables are, they're nice. They're round lunch tables so everyone can face one another with pull-out chairs. And it's just overall just a nicer version of any other cafeteria that you probably have ever sat in. And with that, we're going to go around the horn and see just who they are, what kind of makes, what rounds them out as a schoolgirl, and maybe which Spice Girl they are inspired by. Additionally, all these 5 have secrets, and unlike the last game, every secret directly connects to some other person in this party. All in a negative way because I know what they are. So this one will be a little bit more interesting. The drama will be aplenty. We're going to start with Jennifer and go around. So Jennifer, please introduce yourself, what you look like, maybe your personality, your talents, and what Spice Girl you are inspired by for the people.
Yeah, Jennifer, pronounced Jennifer, and she does prefer it if you use the first name and last name, but you can't pronounce it like Jennifer because that's not her name. Her name isn't Jennifer; it's Jennifer. So you got to put the space in there every time, or she'll get very cross. She is inspired by Sporty Spice. So she is the sporty girl. She's perpetually in some sort of like a workout attire, athleisure wear, as it were. The brunette hair always back in the ponytail, never any other style. Limited to no makeup, perpetually sweaty, but very fit. She is a climber, so she's got like ape strength hands and kind of a daring attitude about her. She's kind of always up for a stupid risk one way or the other. She's packed her own lunch, and she has a really weird quirk where she likes to eat, they eat bugs in some countries. She actually will squirrel a few away now and again with her lunch, and she'll have a couple of bugs with lunch, which her parents absolutely hate. But it's just what she's into. She's got that craving for bugs.
Okay.
Okay, and Ray, introduce your character.
So my character is Haru Heartfilia, and if you recognize either of those, drop it in chat, and I will be very impressed. It's 2 pieces of 2 anime characters that I really like. And Haru is Baby Spice. She is very kawaii, and everything is very cute, and she always wears almost exclusively pastels. Think very Sailor Pluto kind of vibes, and has ever-changing pastel-colored hair. Maybe it's a wig, maybe her actual hair is that way. Nobody really knows. It changes all the time.
It's all part of the Haru.
It is all part of the Haru. And she is known for having a obscene amount of snacks in her bag at any time, but they're the really good snacks. They're never they're never bad snacks. They're just.
Does she have enough to share with the class?
Oh yes, because she is baby. She is very sweet, and she will share with everybody. She also has a penchant for arts and things like that, and she has a very bad habit of turning things that are left unattended into origami. So uh, once or twice she has made a beautiful like origami forest, including like little bridges and animals out of one of her friends' groups, like very important papers, and they kind of had to hand in this odd project in order to get credit. And Haru also very much loves like the tea. Like she knows all of what's going on. She doesn't like to have her own business. She doesn't like people really knowing about what she's doing. But if you want to know what's happening, Haru knows.
Okay. Next up is Polly Pocky.
So Polly has a bob that is bright neon orange. She wears pretty bright but raccoony scene kid makeup from the early 2000s. Her school uniform is constantly covered in grease, which her parents hate because her favorite school subject is obviously auto shop. Um, and like she like rolls up her like uniform skirt and has like torn fishnets with combat boots. She's very edgy, based on Scary Spice. So she is loud, brash, and in your face. She's like got her school lunch that she picked up through the line and like threw away the apple because that's healthy and you don't need that. She'll sit at the edge of the table, kind of like, yeah, it's
Okay.
cool.
Corey Anders.
Well, my name is Corianders, and I'm based off of the Posh Spice, and so I'm an amateur influencer, and so I have long, beautiful blonde hair that I take rigorous care of, and I always have on my person somewhere a Union Jack. And I always have my phone on me, and I'm almost always streaming 24/7. And the question, this is probably something that Haru knows, but my accent is completely and utterly fake. She's been to my house, she's met my parents. They are as American as apple pie. But Posh Corianders runs with it as part of her persona. And so right now during lunch, she has her phone out and she says, "Well, hello again, my spice babies." I don't know. I didn't think of this in advance. What to call her influencers? Um, my spice babies. We're going to be having lunch today. Let's see. We're going to have a lunchbox unboxing, and she's just going to have her phone all set up, and she's going to start unboxing her lunchbox.
Okay. And last but not least, Eugenia.
So I had ginger spice, and that felt like it could go one way or the other way, and the one way was the obvious way, and the other way was that I researched her and found out that she has been writing a children's book series about herself. And the main
Aww.
and the main character is called Eugenia Lavender. So I ripped that and changed the surname so that I could have a catchphrase when I'm mean, because I think that's probably what will happen. You've been ravaged. All I really care about is fashion. Uh, I'm regularly working on my fits, and they are only made out of tea towels because spice history, that's what the famous ginger Union Jack dress was made out of. So tea towel clothes all the way, and chunky highlights. I have a passion for chunky highlights on everything, uh, to the point where like I may have used some experimental bleach and I'm missing like a lot of hair in the back, but what you can see is extremely orange and white. There's no mid-tone. It's a look, and I will stripe
Sure
anything
is
I
a
can
look.
get my hands on. It is a look, and I don't really probably have a lot of friends because like I'm too much. I'm like I have a job to do. Like I am. It's fashion all the time. I don't have time for friends. I'm working on my tea towel empire. That's all I'm really good at. My parents wish I would stop making clothes out of all the tea towels. And I hate English. That is my penultimate drama, that I am not a fan of the English teacher.
Well, joke's on you. English is my best subject. I don't know how that fits with the English teacher, but we'll discover that later.
I'm
That's
so
it. I'm there to like wreck that fashion.
I am so
Fashion.
freaking out of my depth here. I had to look up what chunky highlights are. This is
Oh,
oh no.
If you get
Okay.
too close, like you might get one. So
Yeah, they're contagious. Yeah.
And you
I
don't
mean-
know what I'm using the bleach with. Like, it's definitely a big chemical. Who knows what the effects might be?
So you're all standing there outside of the lunch line, and you're looking around, and you can take this moment to interact to try to decide, where do you want to sit? Do you want to sit inside? Do you want to sit by the wall? Do you want to sit in the middle? Do you want to sit outside on the balcony? It is a nice day out. You may want to sit out there, but you all can decide, where is it you all would like to sit?
I'm going to sit outside where we can enjoy the natural light as I do my unboxing. I want to have primo setup. Who's joining me?
I guess I'll come.
I'm definitely going to be in the background of that video, like posing in my tea towel outfit of the day. Like and
I feel-
subscribe.
I feel like Haru doesn't get a choice because she is so like aesthetically pleasing that she knows if she's not like in the right spot for Corey's video, she's gonna get like yelled at later, and she doesn't like that. So but she also doesn't like eating on camera if it's not for her own like mukbang channel. So she will go outside, but she has a lollipop that she's eating instead, and it is very cute but also like a little more suggestive than I really.
Polly,
Okay.
you're gonna be the camera person. Like Corey's gonna give you her
I'm
phone.
sitting on the table holding the phone, like man spreading as I like eat a piece of pizza.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
'cause,
you all
you know.
walk outside towards a table, and when you get there, you notice another group of people go for the same table, and you know these people immediately. The people that walk up to you, there's Michaela, there's Darlene, and there's Elise. They are
Darlene.
the lead
No.
cheerleaders of the school, and they're like, excuse me, we're gonna sit here. This is our table. We sit here every day, and we don't need you all rejects to sit at our table.
Okay, Michaela, tell your brother that he's gonna eat my ass on the streets tonight. So fuck, come on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You heard it here, Spice Babies.
Did you learn
heard
that
it
in
here.
when you were once again gallivanting outside of your house late at night? I guess your parents don't care where you end up.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, because I can beat your brother on the streets and I can beat your face in with this pizza. You ain't never seen a carb in your life, freak.
Okay, Polly, I want you. I've
You
already
heard
set
it
a
here, Spice Babies.
I set a difficulty for this challenge already. So I need you to roll a d6. And do you think any part of your talent or your basically your school goal background or your talents is attributing to this? You either trying to get rid of them, convince them to leave, intimidate them.
I mean, I'm covered in like auto grease, so like
Okay.
I don't know. I'll shove this
Uh,
pizza in your face. I don't know.
You know what? I'll give you another d6. So you can roll 2d6 and tell me if any of them are a 5 or a 6.
I have a 3 and a 5.
Okay, so it goes down by 1. So the challenge goes down by 1, and you see the lead person, Michaela, kind of like, you see them like, kind of like cross their arm. They got kind of like, they have like that. You see like they skip a beat for a little bit. Like you kind of phase them, but then like Darlene comes up and is like, "Don't worry, Michaela. We don't have to do much. That one over there is too stupid to even know what's going on." As she points to Haru.
Oh,
She's too busy sucking on that thing before she can even figure out what to do.
Your
Oh
reaction.
dear. Spice Babies. Oh, flame her. Her Instagram handle is Darlene Bitch. So I'm going to summon my Spice Babies and tell them to troll Darlene's
Okay.
Instagram account because
So,
not our precious baby Haru, okay? The Spice Babies love Baby
okay.
Spice.
Okay, so give me 2d6 and tell me if you get a 5 or 6 on any of them.
Okay. I got a 6 and a 3.
There you go. So you go down by one more. You see Darlene's about ready to respond, and all of a sudden you hear like the and she's like, oh my god, like, oh, why is it? Stop it! Like, why do I have to? Oh, my parents are gonna kill me. And you see Elise step up and just like, oh really, Corey, Ander? Really? You gonna reach out once more to those superficial wannabes that you call followers so that you don't have to ask for a hug from your parents?
God.
I'm gonna give you guys a chance before I respond. If anyone wants
No.
to step in before she catches these hands.
I'm gonna say the
I would
same
like
thing.
I would like to step in.
Sure, yeah, go for it, go for it.
I'm not gonna say anything except this isn't very fashion, and I'm gonna cut off half of her ponytail. But only
Oh snap! Oh damn. Okay, okay, okay. Does any one of your talents benefit this, or are you just like fuck it?
well, no, I mean like what I'm thinking is like because my primary hobby is fashion and chunky
Okay.
highlights.
Okay,
I
so
thought
you're
about,
trying
like,
to
bleach
using
attacking her,
Sure, sure.
but
I like this. I love exactly where this is going. So roll me 2d6. Tell me if you get a 5 or a 6.
oh, pray Spice Babies. We got a 3 and a 6.
There you go. So you get one more off. So you go.
Adding that
so,
pony to the collection.
so
The
you go up,
stable
and
is
she's
full.
just like, I've seen the way your parents look at you, and I could tell you're disappointed, which is why you reach out to all those artificial things for some form of attention. What? Oh, what are you doing? Oh, what? No, you bitch! What are you doing? And
Just trying to make it fashion.
they're on the cusp of just going away. You might need one more thing before they finally leave.
All right, who wants to land the killing blow?
Haru or Jennifer?
Hey, Michaela, can I talk to you? Can I talk to you? Michaela's the one that got bombed, right?
Michaela was the very first one who Polly Pocky threatened with these, threatened with the pizza, basically.
Who's getting
Darlene is the one who's getting
cyberbullied?
trolled.
Oh,
Darlene's
cyberbully is
Darlene.
Darlene, yeah. You see her,
Hey,
she's just sitting there with her
Darlene,
phone.
can-
It's like, no, I didn't mean. I'm actually a good person. Stop it. Okay, retweet that one. That one's fine. See, that's my friend. I like my friend. You see her, she's just like all on her phone trying to like solve the
Damage
situation.
control.
Yeah.
Hey, Darlene, can we go talk for a minute? Just the three of us.
What do you want?
It's about your phone going off.
Make it quick.
Okay. And I am going to actually use my. Can I activate my secret without actually telling anybody, or the thing that I know about?
Yeah, you can do that.
Because I wanna pull Darlene and her friends aside, and I
Okay.
wanna talk to them about what's been going on behind my back.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
and we're gonna but that's
Okay.
gonna get them off of the table situation because they're gonna be talking to me.
All right.
So I'm
you-
gonna stew it up is what I'm gonna do.
About us, you shady little.
So you
Shady little bit.
you get the three of them over to you as the four of your other friends, the other Spice Girls, start to like take up residency at this table. Like, yeah, we won, whatever. Good job, Jennifer. And you just get them over there, and they're just you see one holding a ponytail, another one is trying to deal with their phone, another one is just like sitting there like really like all arms, just like really pissed and just like, what do you want, tomboy?
Nice. Well, first of all, that's rude. I express my femininity through sport. Okay. All right. But anyway, so disregarding the fact that technically that table is publicly owned, so we can't have any ownership. Can I see the screen names on that phone?
Like, do you like? Are you asking her? Or are you just trying to inherently see them?
I wanna. Yeah, I'm asking her if I can like look at the screen names that are bullying her.
Give me a d6 just to see whether or not how persuasive you can be in this moment.
Okay. What I'm doing is I'm looking to see if they match any of the messages that I've been getting.
I'll
in the
give you an extra
background.
d6 because of your secret. Yep.
I got a 6.
There you go.
Interesting.
You
Your
do notice a few common connections between your plight as well as what's happening to them.
Oh my god.
Secrets going
Bitch.
on. I want to know.
What? What is it? What do you want, Jenna? Fur?
It's thank you, by the way, for
You're
saying the
welcome.
whole thing. I appreciate that. Thank you. We should have this talk some other time. I have what I need now.
Fine, whatever. Come on, girls. And they just like turn and walk away to one of the other tables. As you all see Jennifer come back and put their tray down as they sit triumphantly.
Good
And then Jenna
job, Spice
pulls out
Ladies.
pulls out a bug and just
Oh yeah. Fashion.
Haru is, bless her sweet baby soul, but she did not clock that any of this shit happened because she got called dumb because she is a little spacey. Like outward appearance, she looks like she's there, but in her head it's like life is like a hurricane. Yeah, she's just in her own place. And then when Jennifer sits down and eats a bug, that kind of brings her back, and she looks at her and she's like, "Kawaii kunai, like that's not cute. That's
they're very nutritious and they're low in calories.
But they're also very crunchy. But they're also very crunchy and very gross.
Everything in Haru's lunchbox is based in sugar. Like everything, carbs and sugar.
It's like one of those like Japanese candy lunchbox things.
It's a bento of junk food, is what it is.
I
Like it, I
expected
like
no
it.
less from you, darling.
And it's so cute, and there's like so much edible glitter, so much.
You all see walking up to the table. Coriander, you notice this first because it is your, I'll call it your boo, your influencer girl pal, Cinderella Brandenburg.
Cinderella? Ah,
Cinderella's walking up to the table, and you see her. She literally looks like she took all effort to look like a modern day version of Cinderella. Like a blue dress, long blonde hair, wearing like crystal slippers, and that is just her influencer persona. And she walks up to you and just goes, "Hi, Coriander," and gives you like the the European kiss, one on either cheek. She's just like,
the air kiss.
yeah,
Mm.
mwah,
Oh,
mwah.
darling.
Just 1 second. Hey, all of you out there, this is your real life Princess Cinderella Brandenburg coming at you with my boo Corey Ander. She's throwing the bash of the day with her Culture Fest after school right now. You all should be there. It's gonna be. Where are you? I need to figure out where is it?
I'm feeling like
Ah.
such secondhand embarrassment for my
Yeah.
own character. I'm like, this is so embarrassing for me. I'm just like
Anyone,
cringing.
anyone who,
But-
anywhere, anyone is gonna be there. Just
I
remember,
believe it.
if you show up, who knows? Maybe you'll find the crystal slipper. Wink, kisses,
Ugh.
send, and she like drops her phone as she goes live, and she just goes, "Oh, thank God. Oh, what's up? What's going on? Tired of those, needy little things." You'll,
I would like to be secretly still filming live on Coriander's. Insta.
sure. I could see you doing this. So yeah, roll 2d6 and just see what happens.
Okay.
You can just like see if you're like
Cinderella, it's
you're
so gonna be
secretly
fun.
like
Oh no, it's 2 2s.
okay. So you get one stress die for your next roll, and as you're
Okay.
trying to get at the film, the pizza grease from your hands is like it's hard to operate the phone. Whenever you hit play, it thinks you're hitting another button, and you're just really
Oh,
having a hard
no.
time. Yeah, like the phone flips around, it's just your face, and just like, oh. But Cinderella continues.
And this is why I'm not going to be a
Corey,
top-notch influencer.
oh, you'll get there one day, boo. Don't you worry about it. You just have to. You'll get there. Don't worry. You just have to fluff a little bit of you. It's fine. You'll get there. You're all ready for your event at the end of the day. And Jennifer, you notice she shoots you a look, kind of like snickers, rolls her eyes, and goes back to Corey. You all ready for this afternoon?
What's this
But yes.
afternoon?
It's a culture festival. I thought being her friend, you would know about that.
That sounds dumb.
Ugh. I can't believe you still put up with these friends of
Listen,
yours.
they're all my besties. They've been
Mhm.
they've been with me. I cannot do an accent right now, which is accurate for my character not having an accent. It's all fake,
Mhm.
but they are my best friends. They've been with me from the beginning, and I will never turn my back on them. Isn't that right, darlings?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
totally wouldn't stab one of your best friends in the back. Absolutely not. No, no one, no whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's right.
That wouldn't be very
Whatever.
fashion.
Oh God.
It would not be very fashion at all. So,
You know what? I just
Polly Pocket.
came. I just came to drop off that Everett is talking shit about the festival, and like, they just like there's talk that they might try some shit during it. So just like, I know it's your thing, and I want to be there for you. Not like there as in like there, but kind of like there as in like away filming, getting likes. But I just want to let you know that they might
thank you for letting
there
me
might
know
be
at
some
least
shit
that
going down.
Everett is
Yeah,
being a
well,
skanky hoe.
basically, my princess followers tell me these things. I just feel like I would let you know.
Well, thank you very much, Cindy, darling. Kisses.
Mwah, mwah. And she like walks away.
Did you hear that, girls? Everett is starting to be a little bitch. We have to make sure that we outshine her.
Jennifer,
Yeah, that's right, Corey.
can
It's
you-
really rude to talk behind people's backs, isn't it? We should probably stop anyone who does that.
Jennifer, can you roll me a because you did it 3 times now. Roll me three d6s and let me just know the results.
5-1-1.
Oh.
You go up to two stress die for whatever your next roll might be.
The
Talking
face that Ben just made, that was great.
Talking too much ish.
So
So-
since one of my talents is like knowing all the biz, do I put 2 and 2 together that Jennifer is making veiled like passive aggressive comments because I know that Corey's been talking shit behind her back?
Roll me 2d6 and tell me the results.
Going straight for the
I'm
drama
in a
today,
6,
y'all.
baby.
You roll 6 and a what?
5.
Oh, 5 and a 6. Yeah, I would say you can start putting like you might not know exactly what's going on, but you think that Jennifer knows something that maybe the rest of you don't know, and you're like, I should look into this, or maybe you should keep going with this or try to find out what it is. But you know that she knows something and she truly believes it.
So, Haru is like eating a piece of mochi, like not the first and definitely not the last piece of mochi that she's going to eat today.
There's
And
so much mochi.
so much, the texture is what does it. It's just so good. But, so she's eating a piece of mochi and she's going to say to the table in general, well, I think that kind of goes out the window because Corey has been talking about Jennifer behind her back, so you would do
Wait.
that.
What?
First of all, it's Jennifer. Second of all, what? How do you know that? Also, Corey,
Wait.
you're a bitch. You're a backstabbing bitch. We were friends. We grew up together.
What is this a joke?
One moment. Hello. What have I been saying behind your back?
I don't know, but I keep getting private messages on my Instagram calling me bug eater, and I just went and looked at Darlene's phone, and it's some of the same screen names that are cyberbullying her. So I know it's the Spice Babies, and I know it came from you.
Yeah,
Oh,
because in
shit.
your live last night, you said how you have a friend who eats bugs and how that's like super not cool, and like your other friend you wish would stop trying to make fashion a thing.
Jenna, Jennifer, I want you to roll both of your stress die for me and just tell me the results.
3 and a 2.
Keep going, you're fine. How do you react the rest of the table?
I'm going to look over and side eye, and I'm gonna say, I wonder if people are talking about you because you borrow their shit and you stretch it out or don't even give it back.
Wait, who's you in who was the pronoun there?
Jenna.
Yeah, who's that directed at?
I do that.
Yeah, she looked just
Borrow
at you.
people's shit and stretch it out.
Or you
Eugenia-
don't even give it back.
Eugenia, can you roll a d6 and just tell me what the result is?
This like went from 0 to 60 really
yeah.
quick, guys.
It just fucking bam.
This
I got a
friendship.
You got a 5? Okay, you're fine. So keep going. Jenna, how do you respond
You made me
to
a
that?
teenage girl and gave me a tiny bit of power. What do you want?
Yeah. Jenna, how do you respond?
It's not my fault. You're basically a stick figure with like no muscle tone. So like, of course, I stretch your shit out. And as for not returning it, I'm trying to wash it, and it keeps falling apart because it's like so fragile.
Well, maybe if you didn't sweat so much like such a gross animal, then it would hold up together because fashion isn't for people like you.
Girls,
God,
oh my
maybe get your
goodness,
heart rate up
ladies,
once in a
ladies.
while, huh? You're gonna
Carter,
die when you're
trying
like
to-
30 of blood
Can I be
cholesterol.
trying to go live?
Hey, now, bitch.
I'm trying to go live.
Please, oh my God, no.
Fitbit.
I'm
Carter-
trying to go live.
Eugenia, you get 1 point of stress just from this interaction, so you get 1 stress die.
Who gets the one stress?
So, Corey, you also get 1 stress die because you've just been accused, and so Jenna, you have 2, Eugenia, you have 1, and Corey, you have 1, and Polly, you're
So-
just like, whatever, film,
I'm
this
going
is
live.
gold.
We're going live.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Haru
Corey's like,
is gonna say to Eugenia, I mean, I think like, maybe you guys should talk about this later. The tensions can be high after you've hooked up with somebody. So like, I know the rest of the table and you might have some like weird energy because of that, but
Wait, who hooked up with somebody?
What is happening?
Haru
mean, like,
just
you did
said
it
to
with, like, everybody,
Eugenia,
right?
yeah.
No, that's in character.
Yeah, Haru just said in character to Eugenia, well, that's what happens when you hook up with, well, everyone else at the table.
except for me, which is fine. I mean, like, maybe, whatever, but it makes feelings complicated.
I feel like I'm lost. We're friends, so maybe we should deal with this Everett situation and then maybe gossip later. But this is you're getting some great hits on this live right now, Corey.
Haru, you take 1 point. You
Great.
take 1 stress die.
I just
Haru,
wanna,
you have
like,
one.
grab my
You have
phone
1
from
stress
Polly.
die. Haru, you get
Yes.
1 stress die. You get 1 stress die for doing your secret. So you get 1 stress die. And Eugenia, do you respond at all to this revelation or this realization, this accusation?
I'm just gonna continue like my little sewing project or whatever, and I'm just gonna say, yeah, you're right. The feelings do get really complicated when you can't hook up with anybody.
Oh shit! And
Oh!
Haru,
Oh!
in that moment, you don't know whether it's like that thin line between love and hate, or like the sound of the breeze and the wind that catches Eugenia's hair, or like the way the needle dances in her fingers. But you sit there and going like, "Is this the moment? Is this my time? Is this the right moment for the kiss? Is this that magical romance moment where love
So-
and hate collide?"
Haru
And you just
is going to stand up and like lean over the table, leaning into that energy. But right before she would get to the point where like maybe they kiss when they wouldn't, she takes a piece of mochi and just mashes it into her chunky
Ow!
highlights.
Ow! Oh shit!
How have we
Ow!
managed to stay friends this
Ow!
long?
Yeah, it's been like 3 minutes. Eugenia, you take another stress dice. Can you roll 2 stress die
Wait.
for me?
If I roll low, does the highlight fall out?
If you roll a 1, you do other things. So roll two stress die and tell me if you get a 1.
I got
Because-
2 4s.
You're fine then. You're just gonna deal
Okay.
with Mochi being in your hair. When Haru reached over and you're like, wait, what is she doing? And she gives you like that kiss face. Then all of a sudden, well, blam! Mochi in the hair, and you just have like that like glumpy, gooey Mochi in your hair, and it's ruining up your bang. It's like your bang is now like stuck together, and it's really throwing off your hair.
And you know there's bees out here. Like it's only a matter of time.
I'll just get your
Wasp.
boyfriend to eat it off.
Oh,
Oh, boyfriend.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Uh, Baby
Which makes
doesn't.
it- Otto doesn't have a boyfriend, which makes it more hurtful.
Yeah.
You gotta shoot your shot.
Polly, give me my phone. I'm gonna grab my phone from Polly.
No, this is great. This is
Polly.
gold. This
Polly,
is
I
gold. We're
I
live.
swear,
We're
give me
live.
my phone.
We're live. Okay, I'll give
Can
it
I
back.
grab my phone from Polly?
I give it
Uh,
back.
Do it live.
Each one of you roll me a d6 and just tell me the number you get. I'm gonna, I'll just
Give
do
her
it
roll
straight.
this-
that says we're all very concerning teenage
Okay.
girls.
Yeah.
I rolled a D. I rolled a 1 on my normal dice, but I rolled a 6 on my stress dice.
Okay, that's fine. And Corey?
I rolled a 1 on my normal dice, and I rolled a 5 on my stress die.
Okay. So it's a
So we got 2
stalemate.
ones.
Yeah, it's a stalemate between both of you. Each one of you get another stress die. If you're just like fighting over this phone, it literally is a stalemate. The 3 of you, does anyone else wish to step in to try to influence one side or the other? Jennifer.
I do.
What would you like to do?
Jenna's gonna stand up, get in the frame, and she's got a little Tupperware of bugs, and she's just like, you know what, Corey? I hope Everett ruins your stupid function, and then she's gonna throw the bugs at her and then leave.
What kind of bugs?
Oh, shit.
Crickets. They're
These
like
people
caramelized
cover
crickets.
I
crickets.
need
Oh,
specific.
damn.
Are they flavored? Like
Caramelized.
Yeah,
So-
they're caramelized crickets.
How have
Uh,
they been prepared?
Corey, how many stress die do you have right now?
I have 2.
You know what? Yeah, that goes up to 1 more, so you have 3 now.
I have 3
As
stress die.
as these bugs fall over you, you let go at the sudden surprise of bugs in the air, and Polly, you get the phone back to you, and you're like, "Hey, I'm still alive." And you're filming this now as Corey is covered in bugs, and it's right at that moment you hear the ring as like the bell rings, symbolizing that lunch is thankfully over, and
Oh, that
you
was
now
just
know.
lunch.
You guys all know that you're going to English together. You all go to this. You all have the same class together right now, and you
I
all
have
have to get up and
established
go.
that
to.
we've been friends since kids, and that has
Yeah.
just been destroyed
This has just been.
in 5 minutes.
Yeah, this is. I am surprised how much salt went down immediately. I'm like, I'll put in some feelers for later on so that they can like be like motivated to talk about shit. Nah, bam.
I
Have you ever been a
remember
teenage
being a
girl?
teenage
Because
girl,
this is
baby.
pretty accurate.
I was
So-
gonna. Yes, honey. This is.
And we'll all be
Yeah.
best friends again by end of school day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's
So-
that's
Haru
legit.
leaned-
So
when
Jennifer.
Haru leaned in for that
yeah.
kiss, like I
Yeah.
was angry and excited.
And around.
Yeah, and
Like-
exactly. So
That is
Jenna.
a teenage girl in a nutshell, baby, right there.
So you
That's
my
a
see,
full encounter.
you see.
Like, listen, Corey just wanted to, have all this drama off camera.
Mhm.
But Polly was like, no, it has to be for posterity.
Okay, so
Polly
you,
has too much power.
The utter glee on Polly's face
Yeah.
during this whole thing was
so
just.
The curator.
as Jennifer gets up and walks away, leaving these bugs on Corey as the bell rings, the 4 of you that are left, just like you brush off the bugs, you kind of stop the film, you kind of like look at each other, and you're like, well, we have to get to the class anyway, so. For some of you, there's this quiet tension. For others of you, there's just this funny, like, hey, I got it live. And other ones are just sitting there, like, really, like, occupied of, like, how do I get, I have to, Well, wait, no, maybe I can spin this to like get more likes and follows. Maybe I can use this as and like you're doing like that influencer strategy, but as you know, you're caught up in the motion and the chaos of the lunchroom. You kind of like get caught up in the wave of people, and you get out into the hallway. And as you're all in the hallway, Haru, you see, well, all of you see that there's that really strange loner kid that is just no one can really put heads or tails of, and they're always in like the back of the corner. They don't talk to anyone. They don't speak to anyone. But Haru has this really deep need is try to make friends with everyone, and they're trying their best to try to break through to them. But you
Haru's gotta be her inner Pinkie Pie.
you see them just kind of like at their locker, like with their locker open, head deep into it. As all of you are walking by, and Haru, you're like, you know what? Maybe I should just reach out one more time.
I definitely do. I definitely like. Well, can you give us like a physical description? Like, what does this person
he's
look like?
a taller kid, even for high school. He's probably one of the taller kids in the grade. He wears like one of those green bomber jackets with like a bunch of patches on them. He has strangely baggy jeans. He has like a band t-shirt on. He's wearing a chain that's like a little bit on the thinner side, but has like a messy like black hair that just kind of like gives like that the just woke up look, but maybe not intentionally.
Okay.
But like,
Did you?
Go on.
I was gonna say, did you Judd Nelson this kid into the scene? Like, cause he sounds like Judd Nelson from the.
That's the vibe I'm getting.
You see him in his locker, and like you notice like there's a few like pictures in there with like
Listen.
a poetry book or like a playwright or like.
Oh.
And he's just trying to be in there.
Because you know Rachel likes poetry. Ray likes poetry. So you use that against me.
I'm not saying anything.
Smart.
He's sitting there trying to like keep it like partially open.
Are we
and
having
he's just
some
like
real life friend drama now?
and
This
he's
is
like
real
holding his
real
book bag
drama.
up, trying to like just like put stuff in and out of his book bag.
Okay, so this is like, is he older than Haru?
Yeah, he's like that kid. Like
Okay,
he's
great.
like the same grade as you, but he's a year older than you.
Okay, so
Oh.
it's like, notice me,
on.
senpai vibes.
Yeah.
I'm all about this. So Haru is going to bounce because that's how she walks. Like, just like so, yep, very bouncy.
Flounces over.
Yeah.
Yes, and is going to like kind of pop around the locker door and be like, "Boy," and like, "Hi, how are
Ugh.
you?" Being
God,
very cute.
why are you like? Don't sneak up on me like that. Ugh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I didn't know. I
What-
scared you.
Slams his locker, like throws his book bag on, like, what do you want?
I was just wondering if maybe you were going to the culture festival after school. Maybe we could go like together.
What part of your do you think you have a talent that kind of helps you like get through to someone such as this?
Can we say that he dropped a piece of paper out of his locker?
Sure, why not?
Okay. So as like
I'm waiting for it.
he slammed the locker door,
Yeah, he
and
slams it.
as teenage boys are wont to do, there are just like papers that were jammed in there, and
Oh,
like
absolutely.
one came out. So she bends down and picks up a piece of notebook paper and begins to make this very like intricate origami out of it and makes this little like lotus blossom kind of
Boys love
flower.
that. Boys
So-
love that.
Roll me
Boys love
2d6.
flowers.
So roll me 2d6 for the check, and then also roll your stress die.
Okay.
I'm very
I-
stressed while I do this for you.
I got
For
a
your
1 and a 2, and my stress die is a 5.
So you get another stress die because you failed.
Right.
Oh,
So you're up to however many stress die you have now, and you're like, if you would come to the culture fair with me, and you like hand him the origami, you're like, there's gonna be like more like that because I really like that culture, and he's just like looking at it, looking at you, looking at it, and he just like crumbles it in his hand and it throws it across the hallway. He's just like,
Not the
Oh.
baby.
I'll be there if I want to be there. God. And he just like turns and like walks away.
I'ma
Do we
slap
see
that
that?
bitch.
Oh, absolutely. The four of you were there, and Jennifer, you can decide whether or not like you stormed out just for a little bit, but then you wait up for them, or if you're just gonna meet them at the classroom.
I am going to approach that fella because nobody puts baby in the corner.
Nobody.
Okay.
I'm
so,
gonna approach too.
all
I'm
right.
coming
So
with.
Me
I'm
too.
gonna
he grabs
sneak
it,
the phone
he
back up
throws
to
it.
go
Is
back
he
live.
about to get? He's about to get surrounded.
So he
We finally have a common enemy.
so
That
so
not each
he's
other.
He's at the locker. He turns this way, crumbles it up, throws it, goes to turn the other way, and there's just all of you there. It's just all of you standing there, and he's just like, yes.
I would like to bring that phone back up and focus on Corey as I go live.
Okay, you go live. Corey, what do you
Listen.
do as he's like just standing there getting ready to walk away from the locker?
Listen, it's your prerogative to say no. That is absolutely fair. But you do not, and I repeat, you do not be rude. My bestie here, all right? You can just say politely, no, I'm not interested in you. Instead, she makes you something and you throw it on the ground like an asshole. How dare you? How dare you?
Corey, roll
And
me
I'm just
two-
gonna like hug baby.
roll me 2d6 and tell me the results plus your stress die.
Hug baby.
Why is that not looping?
Oh no! Oh no! I rolled a 6 and a 3 and then a 1 on my stress die.
Oh shit, it's happening! Okay, so
Actively trying
Okay.
to turn off live.
okay,
This
so
is perfect.
you do all of this. You do this big monologue, and you hug baby, and all this like the guy who's sitting there. You see him. You see he's shaken. He's scared, and like he turns and looks at baby, and he's just like, he has this like glimmer in his eye where like, you know what? Maybe I did look at you wrong, girl. Maybe you are the thing that's gonna break through and reach down to my core. And Haru, you're like, oh my god, he's giving emotion. Look at that look in his eye. And you're like, maybe no. This is the moment for the kiss. And you start to lean in, and all of a sudden, you find yourself being picked further and further up into the air as you are now towering over this scene, as you are being held by Corey. Can you describe what your kaiju form looks like?
My kaiju form is literally a huge, giant Alakazam from Pokemon. Because I rolled on the kaiju table my 3 powers, and the 3 powers I rolled was Psychic Blast, Short Range Teleportation, and Malevolent Hovering. And I'm like, shit, baby,
Okay.
you just described an Alakazam! So,
Oh.
you've got this just
Alakazam holding you
Uh,
in its fist with its giant mustache and floating spoons.
Haru, can you roll me a d6 and just tell me the result? Because you need to roll for what happens to Everett.
Haru got a 5.
Wait, so that is enough. So whenever an NPC interacts with something dangerous, they gotta see if they survive. Luckily, Everett rolled high enough that he managed to survive this encounter with a kaiju. But as Haru, you're being now held aloft in a giant silver spoon above the school. You see, like bits and pieces of the ceiling fall around Everett as they fall to the floor. Many people start like screaming and like maybe moving out of the way as like the school bell rings, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Well, I gotta go to class." So they're running, but they're running towards class because they don't want to be late. And the rest of you are sitting there going, "Oh no." Polly's
Oh,
just like,
no.
no, off, stop it. And but Corey, you're sitting there, towering over the school now, holding your friend. And Haru, you know right now you gotta get to class, but you look down and Everett's just like, ugh, fine. And he just like turns and walks away. And who knows what might happen to him later, but he is leaving the scene right now as you see him walking away down the hallway from the hole in the ceiling that you're now out of. But you're now being held aloft to Corey, and you can interact with them if you wish. But you now know all of you are starting to become late for class.
So I feel like this, since we've been friends for a very long time, this is something that they've had to do before, and I feel like Haru would know kind of how to handle Corey as a kaiju, and looks up at her and it's like making gestures that look frightened so that anyone from watching from somewhere else isn't given away that like this is, you know, just like Tuesday, and is gonna say to Corey, okay, let's not forget, deep breaths, calm thoughts, pebbling brooks, come breathe, relax. This is not the look, Corey. This is not the look.
Because
So Corey, all your stress go away now, so you're back at 0. And as Haru's trying to calm you down, you're trying to have this thing like, oh god, I'm a big monster again. Okay, cool or not cool, who knows? But then all of a sudden, you feel a bump on the back of your head as you turn around and you see numerous floating crystalline structures that look like some form of maybe UFO or something, but one just bashes into the back of your head, and there's like 4 or 5 more behind you that just are all like hovering over the school in maybe a threatening manner, but you know, like, nope, they need to get to class, I need to take care of this. And you like put your spoon down, let Haru out, and you go to turn and face this as we will
threat.
Yeah, we'll spend a moment with Corey Ander as well as these ships, and then we'll go back to the class because the rest of you are running to English because you are late. But Corey Ander, how do you
We're all
in your
friends
kaiju?
again, by the way.
Oh yeah, like just like that, you're good. How would you?
Everything's fine.
In your kaiju form, how do you wish to try to like start dealing with this issue, especially considering like, well, you're like, oh, I'm still standing in the school, but like you have to take care of this problem.
So
it looks there's something going on right now.
I'm gonna do my malevolent hovering above
Okay.
the school so that I'm not
Okay.
stomping around and smashing up the school. So
That
I'm
you
going
can
to
do.
hover above it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then I'm going to psychic blast some of these ships away from public area.
Now, because you're doing a bunch, give me 3d6 and tell me the results.
Okay.
You're hovering, you're shooting, as well as you're doing your kaiju-y thing.
Oh shit, baby! That is a 6, a 5, and a 5. I can grab my camera and show you.
No, you're good, you're good. I trust you all. So yeah, you just like effortlessly and without fail, you just like hover up and you're just like, this is a Tuesday for me. And all of a sudden you're just like, your spoon bends in half and then one of the ships explodes. You're like, yeah. Your other spoon bends in half, another one explodes. And you just start going to town on these ships as more and more appear, but you're seemingly keeping them at bay. As we then go down to the very front of a stool door, you know, where it's a wooden door with like kind of that frosted glass that just says English on the front of it. As you see the 4 of you run up to it, going, oh, maybe it's not too late. You throw the door open and come inside, and you see, as always, Professor Daughtry standing there in his like cloth coat with his leather patches, wearing a bow tie with like his like male pattern baldness with, you know, like one like little mole on his cheek, just going, well, look who it is, late once more.
Bueller.
I expected better from you, Jenna, Polly, Haru, Eugenia, well, to be expected.
Oh.
But I thought the rest of you could do better.
Is Jennifer.
How about you all take a seat before we call your parents?
Eugenia's
Eugenia.
just gonna look at him and be like, well, we're only working with the role models that we have. And she's gonna like conspicuously finger her bald spot in front of him.
Oh, okay. It's like, very well, you take your seats and open up your books.
I
As you
will
all- go on.
straddle the chair to like get into the desk,
Mhm.
like straddle it, and then like I'll pull out like a comic book because I don't actually have my English textbook.
Yep.
Oh no! Oh no!
Hot.
Okay.
And then in the distance, you just hear.
All right. I won. So out of the 4 of you, Eugenia, Polly, Haru, and Jenna, roll me a d6 and just tell me the results. So we'll just go in order. So
6,
everyone.
baby!
So 6. Ray.
1.
Okay. Polly.
No.
I rolled a 3, but
Okay.
I'm assuming I
No
needed to roll my
stress-
stress die.
no
as I?
stress.
Okay.
No stress die for this in right now. This is for something else.
Okay.
Eugenia.
6.
Okay. So as
6-6-3-1.
as everyone starts opening their books, and you see the professor going, "We're gonna go over the assignment from last night with the reading," and they turn over. "Since you were late, Haru, what did you think is meant by when the antagonist was struck in the head with the piggy bank and coins rained down?" You can roll.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can. Yeah, roll a d6. If you have any part of your talent that you think works for this, try to sell me on it. Otherwise, it's just going to be your d6 roll with your stress roll.
All right. Oh, I got a 4.
It's
Okay.
gonna crack me up if you roll a 1 on your stress. It's like, what did you think of this with the antagonist?
Yeah.
And I got a 3 on my stress roll.
Okay, so you take another stress die for your next roll. But,
Great.
so for this answer, just make something up, and you just have to see how it plays out.
So Haru is going to use the ploy that they have used from the beginning of time and say to this teacher, I thought it was a symbol of, earlier in the book, but really I don't think I'm qualified to speak on this. I don't think I understood like the nuances. Like what should have the takeaway been?
Nicole, can you please illuminate Haru on what they might have overlooked in this reading? And you see Nicole, who's like a goody two shoes, has like glasses, has like a very prim and proper hair with like the school uniform like nice and perfectly tucked. She says that, well, I believe that the author meant
Like a spitball at her.
roll me
You're awful.
roll me 2d6 and just tell me what you get.
She was doing nothing to antagonize you. Oh, you are being a teenage girl.
A 2 and a 6.
Okay, you got a 6, so that's enough. Well, I believe that the author meant from the antagonist that obviously this ew, ew. And you just see the professor go, please, if we can maintain semblance of order for a minute, please. Go on, Nicole. As I was saying, he gives you like a death glare, Polly, and just like, the author was trying to say that the brain or the head is the most valuable part of a being, of a person. And she sticks her tongue at Polly. And
Can I aim for the inside of her mouth as I hug another one?
go for another one, 2d6, and just let me know what you get.
And don't forget the stress.
3 and a 6.
Okay, and roll your stress die on this one, because you're really going for it.
A 2 and a 4.
Okay, so you
Do I
you
have
do.
two stress
She sticks her tongue out, and you hit it right in the middle of her tongue, and she's like,
Disgusting.
and she like gets up.
Disgusting.
She like gets up and like runs out of the room, just like ah! And she just like runs out of the room with the door slamming
Awful.
behind her.
You are awful.
And he's
I
just
love
like,
it.
And
go
Haru
on.
is definitely like in her seat, like like making all these awful faces as she's going because like she doesn't understand. She doesn't understand why it was insulting, but it was definitely insulting.
And then
Right, you don't insult you don't insult Haru.
Haru, you look
Not
over at
me.
Polly, and she like turns back at you with like like, are you using like a pen to shoot the spitballs, or like a straw, or like?
I assume that I have like a hoarded amount of straws that I take from
That's fine.
lunch.
So she's like, she turns back at you, and like with the straw, like kind of like just like precariously hanging out of her mouth, with like a wink, and she's standing up for you, and she's like coming to your defense as she took down this person that was putting out so much hate to you, and you're like, the school quiets down, and there's this sudden like quietness as like a page flips, as a book closes, and you're like, no, this is that moment. This is the connection where, no, this is the time for my kiss. This is that
When will
moment for
baby
that
get
kiss.
her first kiss?
Will baby get her first?
And you start to
Is
like
this baby's
get,
first kiss?
you start to
It
get
is.
up. You start to get up as like, whoa, my
This unchained melody
darling.
plays in the back.
And
Oh,
she's
so
like
you're
walking,
good.
she's like walking up to
good.
her, and then all of a sudden you're snapped out of it as the
Does
professor's just
his
like,
name fall through the roof?
as like the professor's like, Haru, please take your seat, and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, sorry, and you look at Polly, you're like, later, and you just like go back to
Okay,
your chair.
but like, can we just take a minute to respect how big Haru's balls are to like roll that out in the middle of a class?
Oh, absolutely. She's just so caught up, and she's just like, Haru, take your seats, don't get up, and you're just like, oh, sorry.
I feel like Haru also like wipes a little drool away.
Just like, Woo! Just like,
Polly's just like, wait,
thanks.
what just happened? I don't.
just completely
Let me
oblivious.
get some of these group dynamics out in my head.
yeah.
All right, so Eugenia has slept with everybody but baby.
Hooked up.
Yes.
You don't know whether it's
Hooked
slept with. Hooked up.
Hooked up. You don't know
Asterisk.
what,
Hooked
like,
up. Yeah.
Okay, hooked up.
Yeah.
So hooked up could mean a number of things.
All
from
sorts of
first to
things.
Third base.
Fashion.
Okay. Haru
Mhm.
has not had her first kiss.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We do not yet know the state of Polly and Jennifer's romantic liaisons, but we do know that, according to Jennifer, Corey has
He's
been
talking shit.
bashing,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Haru
Throwing
is
shade.
saying is corroborating that.
Mhm.
But it was
Oh,
shade
uh-huh.
that was on the stream. So
Oh yeah, and then Haru was the one that alluded that she knows that Eugenia was the one that's hooking up with everyone, but not her. And we also know that Eugenia said that Jenna is really bad at borrowing stuff and destroying it and not giving it back. So that's another form of shade that's out there.
It is canon that Jenna has borrowed Eugenia's clothes. So
absolutely.
do with that information what you will.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
But
far,
we go back. Yeah.
Polly
we-
is the safest right now. I don't think we've had any shade thrown on Polly.
Who
What's
knows?
really
I don't-
interesting, yeah, Polly's like the baddest one, and she's like squeaky clean.
Yeah.
Because
and
it's
then-
all her projecting, right? Like, she's...
So, and then the professor turns to Haru. Well, Haru, since you're so eager to be the center of attention, why don't you tell me
Why are you
what...
so obsessed with me?
Haru, not Eugenia. Haru, not Eugenia.
Oh shit.
So, Haru, tell me, how did you think the protagonists felt when they discovered their two best friends kissing?
Oh, his face at the back of his head.
So Haru, roll me your stress die and tell me if you get a 1, and then Polly, roll me 2d6.
Oh,
We got a 5 and a 1.
Alright,
This is
once
the
again, I
moment.
will have to
Okay?
continue.
Yeah, you're good, you're good, you're good. Haru, did you get a 1?
3 ones.
Oh, shit! So, Haru, how would Haru actually take that answer, since it's very tied to, well, something that maybe you know that no one else knows? How would she actually respond to that in class in that moment?
Oh my god.
Haru would stand up and bless her sweet bimbo soul. She would stand up and look this teacher dead in the eye and like flip one pink ponytail behind her and say, "I imagine like this," and grab Polly by the face and kiss her and then turn
Oh,
into a
shit!
monster.
Oh, snap! Polly, as you're lining up for a spitball, your head gets pulled to the side, and all of a sudden you're just lip to lip with Haru. And just like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, the lip goes away as the ceiling explodes. As Haru, what does your kaiju form look like?
So, how does kaiju form look sort of like Mothra meets Mothman, like large insectoid with wings, has like these spores, like they have like a fungal kind of vibe to them, sparks coming from between their mandibles, and they have this like wasp-like tail because they have a venomous sting.
Okay.
Did baby turn into kaiju?
Baby went kaiju. Baby
Baby
went off.
went kaiju.
Baby went
But
kaiju.
But baby is also like to the giant alakazam. I am like a little moth. Like what's the little?
Yeah.
I'm like a little butterfree.
Oh,
like,
not Butterfree. Oh my God, what is that other one?
What, Beedrill?
It's not Beedrill. It's the moth one with the moth. Oh my God, why am I?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. but I can't
Venomoth.
remember what it's
Venomoth. Venomoth.
Venomoth.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Venomoth. Well, there's Venomoth,
Exactly,
there's
because
Dustox,
I'm
there's...
Yeah.
also very
many.
cute. Like
Yeah,
don't
so she's
touch,
a cutesy
but very-
kaiju. So,
Yes, I am a kawaii.
Coriander, in your kaiju form, as you're like bending spoons back and forth and just watching ships explode as more and more come in, you hear the sound of like debris falling as once more the ceiling of the school explodes, and you see a very familiar, smaller moth-like kaiju appear, hovering, and just like starting to like fly over to you. As you now know, Haru has changed over as well. Haru, as you're flying above the school, you now see what Coriander was dealing with, and you see even more ships start to appear. These crystal ships that actually look like, if you look at it, like a geode, where like the bottom of it is smooth and the top is all sorts of crystalline colors, and each one's a different color. But as Coriander turns and looks at you, like a laser beam from one of them comes down and hits her in the back as she gets like struck once. It kind of does a little bit of a dip and turns around. Haru, how do you interact with this scene as you go to fly over to Coriander's aid?
Haru is going to use her like spores and try to send them toward these like ships in the hopes that it's like bird strike, right? Like that it gums up whatever engine they're using and try to disable them as best she
Sure.
can.
Give me 2d6 and tell me the result.
Ooh, a 4 and a 6.
Okay. So you actually you let loose the spore cloud, and the one ship that just hit Coriander with a laser beam explodes as you start to interfere and affect and impact the other ships. They actually start to like slow down. They can't move. They're actually starting to like lose atmosphere a little bit, but they're staying put. They're panicking as they don't know what's happening. The other three of you just see a giant hole in the wall. Polly, you might be a little bit more dumbfounded than the rest because Haru, who has never done anything like this ever before, just lays a fat one on you and then woof, and flies away all of a sudden. But there's just a hole in the ceiling as the professor is just like looking up. And Polly, how do you react in this moment after all of that?
Was that supposed to be a joke? I don't know what just happened.
Polly, you get 1 point of stress, and just roll me your stress die.
Okay, all three of them. Here we go. 2 4s and a 3.
Okay, so
Cool,
you're
cool.
fine,
Don't-
but you're just like
don't
dumbfounded. You're
hide
like,
you out.
wait, what just happened? And Jenna and Eugenia, you're in class, and you're like, oh shit, we need to bring attention back down to class and get that away from the what may just happened. Maybe people don't realize it was Haru. We have to distract them somehow, quick.
Hey, Professor, Professor, I had a question about the reading. It's very important. I didn't understand something really specific pertaining to the kiss. See, what I thought that it was interpreted was when, you know, the first protagonist, who's it's an expression of her she's kind of filibustering here,
Yeah.
and also trying to explain to Polly what she thinks just happened, What I think it is maybe at a certain point, she her feelings of friendship turned into feelings of like maybe something else. But I'm wondering if that's not metaphorical enough, or if maybe actually it was really true feelings. But then also like, what does that mean about like the rest of her friendships? And does she have crushes on anyone else in the friend group? And what does that mean if like two other friends happen to be kissing on the side now and again, and she doesn't get to be involved, and that makes her really jealous? And like, what if maybe another friend is like talking shit behind her back, and it's and that's causing like friction in the friend group, even though like everyone, like, even though I think like maybe she's talking shit, maybe because she kind of like maybe has like feelings. So I don't know, like what do you think? What do you think, Professor?
So
The answer is everybody has feelings for everybody.
Everyone's got feels.
So Jenna,
Like a typical teenage girl.
Exactly,
Go girl.
yeah.
It's fine.
Jenna, do you think you have any part of your schoolgirl talents or background attribute to you trying to filibuster this?
Let's see here. Yes, actually, because her favorite course is civics.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go,
All the
Snaps. Okay.
favorite courses.
So roll me
Well
two.
done.
Roll me 2d6 and your stress die and tell me the results of both.
Oh, good. The stress die too. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Here
yay.
it comes, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, I got a 6, and I didn't. I got a 6 on one of my stresses, and I got a 6 on the skill.
Okay, that's fine. You're
That-
fine. So you're good.
Right.
Yeah, you passed. So you successfully filibuster this, and the professor just turns to you and just like with like mouth agape and just like, Jenna, are you reading a different book? Because none of that happens. Nothing in this story touches upon that whatsoever. You know, the school has counselors if you need to speak to someone, if you're projecting onto this. But no, that's no.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've just got keto flu. Did you get my? Did you?
Nice.
Hello.
Did you
Nice.
get my? Did you get my
That's
note
a good-
from the
good
climbing
callback,
coach?
good callback.
Did you get my note from the climbing coach saying that I'm supposed to get an A on whatever is going on today because I have the competition tonight?
Yeah.
Oops,
you
I
guys-
wasn't supposed to say that loud.
You actually, Jenna, all of a sudden you hear a voice coming from out back, from behind you. Your rival, Vicky Torres, pipes up and says, "You know what? I heard that same thing about Jenna, and frankly speaking, it is quite disruptive. I really think that maybe you should send her to the principal's office, or maybe even give her detention, because this is really distracting us from our studies, and maybe she should not have the ability to attend that championship after school." She turns at you and gives you like a look like, "What are you gonna do now, bitch?"
Oh shit.
Okay.
She gets a
First of all-
spitball to the face.
Okay. So,
Can I do a thing before she finishes
sure,
the
yeah,
sentence?
go for it. Eugenia, what are you trying to
I
do?
would I'm gonna scream.
Oh, damn.
And then I'm gonna throw myself out of my desk onto the floor and like purposely rip my tea towel dress open, and I'm gonna say, "Help! The light is reflecting off of your bald spot and it's blinding me!"
Sure. Okay. Is there a part of your background that helps with this, or is it?
Photography?
Well, the thing is like my hobbies are really just fashion, and my favorite subject is art and economics.
Sure. Roll me
And
2D.
so I feel like this is my art, and
Yeah.
the English teacher is my nemesis.
Sure.
So
Give me 3d6. Tell me the results, and tell me the results of your stress die as well.
okay. So I just rolled 3d6, and I got
Yep.
a 6, a 6, and a 3.
Damn. Okay. And what do you get on your stress die?
And I think I only have 1 still.
I remember
Is that, or is it 2?
you got 1 from the accusation.
Okay.
And I think
I
you got
have-
you do get 2 because you made an accusation and you got an accusation,
Yes.
so you got 2. So you have
Okay.
2d6.
So I just rolled those, and I got a 1 and a 3.
There it is. There it is. Okay. So the good news is you fall out of the chair perfectly. You hit the floor and you're just like, "Oh no, the bald spot. I can't take it. Ow." And you see in that moment, the professor walks up to you, like runs up to you and goes, "Eugenia, no, I've mistaken your behavior, and are you okay? Are you gonna be fine? And he's just completely disregarding Vicky, and it's just like doesn't even acknowledge what she's trying to do to Jenna, and he's just like, "Are you okay? Do you go to need to see the nurse? Are you gonna be fine?" And then you're like trying to respond. You what does your kaiju?
I don't think she's gonna fit in the nurse's office.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
describe your kaiju form and extend it as I may or may not run to the bathroom.
Cool. So since we're kind of like doing a Pokemon thing,
I didn't mean for it to become this way, but here we are.
I
But it
kind of
happened,
like it.
so-
It makes it a lot easier to visualize. So I'm basically a Beedrill if it had the guns from Blastoise.
Oh
Nice.
God, you're a Digimon.
I know, I'm for real because you gotta get that money. I am kind of going with that because I have a chitinous carapace. So I'm
Okay.
thinking that makes me insectoid. I have
Okay.
great and terrible wings. So
Okay.
got that happening. And then I have a bioplasma projectile, which that's gotta be big guns, right?
That's
Big
gotta
gun.
be big guns. Okay.
It's gotta be.
So-
So it's like Beedrill with Blastoise's like
So instead of
Ring.
Beedrill's like little drill spikes, because Beedrill has like drill arms and a little drill,
guns.
gun. They're guns. Pew 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 pew
Guns.
pew. You are
Yeah.
B-gun or B-gun.
And I would like
Beedrill.
to imagine that maybe instead of being like 2 6-shooters, it's like I put my hands together and both of those become one big bioplasma cannon.
So we're talking like
That's
it's a
not
half
even
cylinder,
physically possible.
a half
And then
cylinder
it-
and a half
yeah,
cylinder, and then you
yeah.
put the half cylinders together.
But see, here's the thing. It's a bioplasma projectile, so it's not like a mech gun. Maybe it's like
It's like
biotech.
biological, yeah.
Ugh.
So
Oh,
it
it's like
can.
it's like the
It's-
B
it's a
gun from
Kamehameha.
Half-Life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got like your B gun hands and your P gun hands, and then you put them together, and it's Kamehameha.
Exactly. And I like to think that is just an extension of my real life schoolgirl weapon, which is my hurtful mouth. I
What-
never.
What if your bio gun is like acid because you're bleach? You know, so it's bleach
I think it
bio.
has to be because I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this, but I imagined that the thing that turned me into a kaiju was because I fell asleep coated in experimental hair bleach.
That you know what that tracks. I don't even have a reason for why I'm a kaiju. I was spawned this way.
This
Of
is
course
me,
you were.
bitch.
Okay.
So
So the good news is
we've
Yeah, go
talked
on.
about it.
okay. The good news is there's already a hole in the ceiling, so that's nothing new. But
Yeah.
But now Jenna and Polly are left in the room trying to deal with this mess as two of your friends went kaiju. And even the professor's like,
three of your
Three-
friends
well,
went
yeah.
kaiju.
but in this moment two went. And even the professor's like, did the fall? Wait, where did Eugenia go?
I unleashed a machine gun of spitballs.
Oh my god!
I need to distract. I need to distract.
When in doubt, spitball.
You know what? You've done that so much. Give me 3d6.
Okay.
When
I
in
got-
done.
A 1, a 2, and a 6. Do you want me to roll my stress die?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh
Very-
no!
No, you do.
I rolled a 5, a 2, and a 1.
All right.
Oh no!
And so as you're like, as you're like, bam, he's just like, Polly, for the love of God, please just stop it. Yeah, we know you're the outcast. You're like the class clown. We get it. You're a rebel. It's been done. You're just nothing but a derivative character arc in some other person's story. God, and you're like, oh, you son of a, you're like,
That says we were
Oh.
fucking mean.
and
We
you're,
thought lunch
you're
was
like,
bad.
oh, you son of a bit. Oh, actually, Eugenia, I need you to roll.
I told you this guy was
Um,
rude.
Haru changed, you changed. Eugenia, I need you to roll me 2d6s and just tell me the results.
Okay, they are 5 and 4.
I'm gonna
Okay, that's
smash
enough.
the fucking teacher.
Polly, you're like, oh, you son of a, you got ready like the biggest spitball in your life, and you're just like, you're like preparing it, like you're charging it up to over 9,000, and right as you're about to let loose, as you yourself
I
go
turn
Kaiju.
into a giant praying mantis-like creature. Imagine Lurantis from Pokemon, because, you know, we're going there.
We're going there.
Um,
Okay.
We're going there.
Excellent reference.
And I have, like, I imagine that, like, literally she's like an orchid praying mantis with, like, scything claws. She's, like, covered in, like, this chitinous carapace, which is, like, armor. And then extrude, like, where the soft parts are, it's just a spiked leather skin. Like, so she's, like, this armor. And I feel like it's, like, really hard for her not to just, like,
Well,
she keeps herself. She keeps herself.
Eugenia, give me one more d6 because another person has changed. Tell me the results. Who knows? Maybe you do something to them.
Oh no!
What's the results of your 1d6, Eugenia?
5.
Nope, they're still fine. So you
Okay.
resist the urge
I
to
hold
stomp on
myself.
them. Yeah. But you once again go stomping out of the way as Jennifer, you're the only one remaining in schoolgirl form. As all of a sudden, you get lucky and you just hear the as the bell rings and the class ends. You're like, oh, thank God. But then you also remember, oh shit, the culture festival is going on right now, and I'm the only person left here to even do anything about it. But we're gonna go to the 4 of you, and we're gonna make this now Kaiju focused. So, as Polly comes out of the same hole from the ceiling, you now have these 4 massive Kaiju getting ready to defend the school in some way from these massive crystalline spaceships. You're all getting bombarded with laser beams. Some of you are getting hit with the carapace. Some of you are just dodging out of the way.
So we've got Alakazam. We've got Venomoth.
Yep.
We've got B-Gun
Mm-hmm.
and Lurantis.
Yep.
This is a Pokemon. This is quite the Pokemon battle.
It's a Pokemon Spice Girls crossover that no one saw coming.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Spice up your life.
you now
We're
see
going
that
full 90s.
you're all being hit by these laser beams. You're all being cascaded with this different types of energy bouncing off of your Kaiju form. Let's see, Eugenia as well as Polly. What would you like to do in this moment to try to help out with this situation as more and more of these things start to appear? Some of them actually start to land outside of the school, and you actually see some like ground forces come out, which are just more floating crystals, but they're on the ground.
It kind of feels like time to charge up my bio gun.
You can
I'd like
certainly
to
do that.
I would like to step on the little crystals
Okay, so Polly,
with my giant praying
Go on.
mantis feet.
Is your praying mantis thing a part of your Kaiju form?
I have scything claws.
That's right. So, both of you give me 2d6 and just tell me the results.
2 and a 4.
Okay.
5 and a 1.
So, Polly, you get 1 point of stress.
Okay.
You get a 5 and a 1, so you don't get stressed. I'm gonna go to Kaiju music now because we have enough people to do it. But okay, so Eugenia, you charge up your beam cannon. Are you shooting at the aerial stuff or the land stuff?
Are you firing your laser?
Oh yeah, this is serious business. This is a bioplasma projectile. I would like to fire at whatever is the most threatening crystal. Like who is someone like
to
immediately
you,
getting
to-
attacked?
All of you are kind of being shot at, so it's kind of like, is it more more threatening to you, more threatening to the school, more threatening to like the city? Who knows?
Oh, definitely not the school, and I'm a teenager, so not the city either.
Okay, so your
Definitely
friends.
me.
Okay, so
Me or the friends.
Okay, so yeah, that would be more of the aerial stuff. So you would be shooting at the floating crystals, and you charge up and you shoot your cannon, and kind of like Voltron-esque, if you've ever seen it. Like you go through like the middle of a couple ships, but the power is so powerful that just going by them explodes. Like each, that's like a whole line of them just explode, and you all find a reprieve from the laser fire. But Polly, you go to start like stepping and slicing, and you go down and you try to hit one of them, and you put your slide down and you miss the crystalline land cruiser, and you actually like puncture one of the stadiums like that has like a cover to it, and starts deflating, and you pull out your claw and you're like, oh, you just put like a hole in the football field.
Sorry.
As like you
Not
just
sorry.
and as because of your misstep, all more and more of these crystalline structures start to expand, and you all notice that all of them are going towards the culture festival. And Polly, you did get 1 point of one stress die if you didn't record it already.
I guess it.
Okay, and don't forget, if you ever want, you can just add stress die to try to benefit yourself to try to pass something. Just FYI, just as a reminder. Okay, so going back to the top of the kaiju round, so Corey, Ander, you notice that all of a sudden, the culture event just started and you're not there. And you also notice that all of these crystal beings, all these aliens, are going right for it. And you're like, oh crap. Everything is going wrong. This thing needs to go on. This is my thing. And my thing is gonna happen.
So I saw how good Eugenia like shot everything up in the air. And one of my kaiju abilities, malevolent hovering, doesn't necessarily stipulate that I'm the one who hovers. So can I like cause all the crystal thingies on the ground heading towards the cultural festival? Can I hover them up and make them sitting ducks for my friends to tear them to pieces?
You absolutely can. That's a good move. And so
Corey!
give me 2d6 plus any stress die you might have. The difficulty for this is a little higher because you're all slowly ticking down the challenge of the aliens. But so give me 2d6 and tell me the results.
All right. I do not have any stress die, so we're just gonna do 6 and a 4.
Okay, that's enough to at least affect it. So you don't get all the ones you want, but you get a good portion of them. You get about half of them up into the air. So you stop a good front of this incursion of these alien creatures. But there's still some that are going. But you're trying your best. You're like, not my event, you bitch. But we're gonna go up now. Haru, you're up next. So you see Corey, Ander float some of these things up, but there's still more on the ground that are threatening to the culture festival, as well as the flying ones that are trying to come up and over the culture festival to try to impact it.
Okay. So Haru knows that this is really important to Corey. So she is going to fly like a perimeter around the around the culture festival and use her flame breath to make like a mote of fire in order to cut the creatures on the ground off from getting into the festival.
Okay, roll me 2d6, tell me the results, and if you have any stress die, roll them. I don't know if you have any stress die as a monster, as a kaiju yet.
I have a 5 and a 5, and I have no stress die as a kaiju.
You're good. So yeah, you just do that. So you fly around Mothra style and just put up this protective moat of fire, and you do a damn good job of it. You actually halt all ground level incursion from coming. So between you and Coriander, the ground side of this building is fine. Even though if someone looks outside, they might just see a wall of fire, which might be disconcerting, but they're fine.
It's Tuesday.
But the flying ones are still threatening. So now we're coming up to Eugenia. You're up next. How would you try to solve either the ones that Corey has risen up off the ground, or the flying ones that are slowly trying to like land on top of the building where the culture festival is happening?
I'm definitely gonna take the assist from Corey, and the ones that have been raised into the air, I'm gonna charge up my bioplasma projectile once again.
Charge!
Okay, I'm gonna give you a free d6 because they're assisting, so you can roll 3d6 on this.
Hell
Tell me the results.
Oh yeah! Okay, I got a 6 and 2 3s.
Okay, so that's enough to clear it, so you don't take any stress. And once again, you charge up your laser and or as Ray likes, as as they go out, and each one just as they all just explode in this cavalcade of light. As for anyone that's looking at it, it just adds on to the firewall. As they just explode, seemingly taking them out of the playing field. And Polly, you now realize that you are the last thing that stands between you and the Culture Festival, and these crystalline aliens.
Okay, I will use my chitinous carapace and my spiked leathery skin to
Okay.
try and body slam
Okay.
whatever crystalline structures are left and just go whoops.
Okay. Roll me 3d6 and
And my
also
stress die?
and your stress die. Yep. You guys have been rolling very
Okay.
well these whole games.
On my normal die, I got a 3,
Okay.
a 5,
Yep.
and a 6.
You're
On my
fine.
stress die, I got another 6.
You're fine completely. No additional stress either. So you kind of jump up over the Culture Festival and just like shield it like it's one of your babies. As each one of these ships like inadvertently like run into you, and you just feel them on your armor just explode one by one as it just kind of like tickles. And you're seemingly staving off this incursion when Jennifer, you walk into the Culture Festival and you just see all sorts of different cultural booths from all walks of life around this planet. Each one has their own booth dedicated to their culture. It's, you know, people dressed up in cultural outfits, their food, they're speaking traditions, they're doing festive dances, they're talking about their holidays. It is really just a really well done event. And you hear some people going like, hey man, are you like hearing noises outside of something? Like it sounds like fire or like explosions. And you're like, no dude, like it's just like the other cultures talking about like how like, you know, they like to have drums in their like stuff. It's fine. And you hear someone else that's like, hey, is anyone else getting hot in here? I feel like my sweater vest is getting a little too toasty more than it should be at this time of year. And I read the Farmer's Almanac, and well, it shouldn't be this temperature right now. And you're sitting there looking at all this, going, I'm not equipped for this. This is not my thing. My championship is coming up, and I can't focus on this. But you notice all this going on, and you also notice that where is it? That Everett Chamberlain is actually behind one of these cultural booths right now. They have like this snide look on their face, and you see they have like box cutters, and like, hey, I'll show that, Corey. And
The guy who was mean to Baby.
no, that's somebody else.
This is the person we didn't deal with at lunch.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's his Eugene is the guy that Baby dealt with. Everett is the person that's Corey's rival. That you know
Nemesis.
specifically, yeah, that they are
Right.
talking shit and that they're purposely trying to sabotage this event.
Sabotage my influence.
Yeah, you
Okay.
see, you see them trying to actively sabotage this, and you also see other people starting to get wind of what's going on. What do you try to focus on?
Ooh.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Haru wants to like try to glide and make a show as if they're like a kite, so people are like distracted and like watching them. And when they fly over Everett, she's going to spore that particular area and try to like
So-
knock Everett out.
So the
Not-
culture festival is like a gymnasium. It's an auditorium. It's completely enclosed.
Oh, it's
so-
inside.
Yeah, it's inside like a gymnasium. It's just like on the floor of a large open area that's inside, and it's like a event for all the student body. So it's
Okay,
just like
I'm landing and I'm walking in like how you see the line of Pikachus in Japan, like that, and trying
Okay.
to be like as cute and whatever as possible. And I'm still going to sport Everett. I'm
fine.
gonna try to like look like I'm on a con floor and like
Yeah.
this is like, oh,
So roll me
cute.
1d6 for impersonating someone in a costume, and then 2d6. So on the 1d6 you get.
A 5, a 4,
Okay.
and a
Okay.
4.
Okay. So on the secondary check, you do get a point of stress, so you get 1 stress die now as a kaiju. So you succeed in making people convinced that you're just not a kaiju. They're like, "Oh my God, look at it! That must be from Japan. It looks so believable. It almost looks like it's real. Touch it, Billy. Doesn't it feel real to you?" And they're like petting you. And Jennifer, you see them walk in and they shout you a look like, "Ha ha ha ha! Do something!" So yeah, Jennifer, what are you doing?
Gonna like run up. Haru, what are you doing?
Haru is on fire. No.
On fire. I knew you were gonna say that.
Haru, what? They're gonna figure this out. They're gonna figure you out.
And I imagine Haru can't cause she doesn't have a human mouth anymore.
Yeah, she doesn't.
It's just like kind of noise.
Yeah, you have no clue. You have no idea what Jennifer. You have no idea what they're saying.
Oh, you need to get your ass over to Japan because that's where they think you're from.
So Jenna,
So she's gonna
go on.
toddle.
Yeah, you like toddle over.
I got Everett.
So Jenna, what do you try to do to Everett as you see him just like go behind one of these booths with like a bunch of box cutters and you don't know what they're doing and it's been a few minutes?
So Jenna is going to kind of sigh and just say, "The things I do for love," and then she's gonna like climb up like the side of a tent, and then she's actually
Okay.
gonna sort of like crawl down and like then sort of like Spider-Man lower herself behind
Okay.
him and just like be like, "Everett."
Okay. Roll me 2d6 plus your stress die.
I succeed, and then I rolled a 1. So here
There
we
it
go.
is. Okay.
Yeah, baby.
All right,
So I
finally,
need
the last of our
you-
kaiju.
Yeah. So Jenna, I need you to roll me a 1d6 and just tell me the result.
5.
5. So. Okay. Yep. That's still fine. So you crawl up and Spider-Man your way down, and you get right behind Everett as like they have the box cutter on like one of the tent poles that keeps everything up, and he's just like getting ready to snip it, and you're like, Everett, and he's like, "Oh, what? Oh God, I'm not doing anything. This is just like, I'm just here. This is like these are my like therapy box cutters. I need these so that I feel safe at all times. I have a note for these, And you're like, I don't think so. And you're getting ready to do something, and all of a sudden, and you explode into this cafeteria, transforming into your kaiju or this auditorium. What does your kaiju form look like?
We're all doing Pokemons, aren't we? Crap, where'd I put it? So, Jenna is a spider. Jenna looks like a spider. So she looks like an arachnid, but without the helmet. And she also has like 2 actual functional arms up front. So it's like 6 spider legs and then 2 like functional pinchers that hold in their hand an enormous glaive made of bone and metal.
Sick.
And not threatening whatsoever.
Yeah, and she can also release from her thorax nightmare spores. So she's a pretty horrifying looking creature. And can I just pull Everett up with me? Can you come along for the ride?
That was the roll you just made. You safely
fucked.
grab him and pull him up, but you now just made this massive show in this culture festival as you explode, knocking over 2 or 3 booths, as you just appear out from all of this, and you have a split second to try to do something before shit hits the fan.
Gonna get kind of above the gymnasium, and there's a lot of tents, so gonna reach down with the giant spider, the spider pinchers, and just kind of hold everything in place while restraining myself with like my last 2 legs. So I've got, let's see here, hold on, let's account for all the legs that are happening right now. Okay, so I've got 2 legs holding me up on the roof, and then I've got 1 leg holding Everett because he's a dick.
Okay.
I've got 2. We'll say I've only got 1 leg holding the glaive, but it's just kind of hanging there. And then so that leaves me with 5 more legs to like hold tent poles. So
5 more legs to hold.
So
Only
Jenna's
5
just gonna
more.
like grab the top of all these like tent poles and just kind of hold them in place before everything falls apart.
Okay, roll me 2d6 and tell me the result.
Can I roll
Jesus.
3d6 because I'm climbing? And I'm a good climber?
That's
Your
good.
climbing
That's
only
true.
affects your schoolgirl form, not your kaiju form.
What? Oh,
Aw.
I'm beyond. I'm
Yes.
beyond separating the two parts of my identity. They are one.
Well,
They
this
are one.
this
They
system.
are
I rolled a 4 and a 1.
So you get a point of stress. You get 1 stress die, and you fail. So you're like, you're trying to do like the thing. You're like da 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 da. Hey, and you're like trying to like, don't worry, guys, this is part of the show. And you try to hold it up, but each time you try to pull up one of the tents, it just falls back over. And you pull it back up, and it falls back over a different way. And you're doing that each time, and all of a sudden there's this. Oh my god! You just all start like panicking and flying, and you're like, shit. And then you look towards your hand at Everett, and he just looks up at you and starts like, and all of a sudden his skin splits open, and
I knew it!
emerging from Everett's body is this singular crystal structure as his human form drops to his side, and you hear inside your own head, "You have made this easier for us. We shall collect all of their brains."
Oh no.
As all the doors on the gymnasium just all open up, and more of these crystalline structures are flooding in. It's going brains, and you see it. You see teachers and students. Some of them start to like, "Oh my God, no! Get away from me!" And their head just, as their head explodes, but their brain holds there, and it starts
that's
floating,
disgusting.
and it starts like
That's so
or-
That's wretched.
their brain
That is
orbits some of the
gross.
crystals. Like they actually orbit the crystal structures, and you notice that each individual one of these things starts like slowly exploding and gathering brains from each one of your student bodies, from your classmates and your teachers and parents that are there.
That's absolutely wretched.
Haru, hold on 1 second. You notice, yep. Haru, you notice you all of a sudden, since you're inside, you take a particular interest in one person. You notice your older brother Lucas came to support you in this moment because of how close you guys are. But you also notice that they're strangely holding a bouquet of roses, which doesn't make sense to you, since that's not really your flower. And you're like, wait a minute, what are they doing? But you're like, what? No, I have to protect my brother. We'll get to that later. And as you see your brother like trying to like get back and like run, but every time they run, they get to one spot, there's another crystal, and they run away, and there's another crystal.
I am going to, because at this point the jig is up, so I'm going to fly over to where my brother is, and any crystal creatures that are around him, I'm going to use my poisonous sting to try to stop them, and I'm leading him like to the door to try to get him to safety.
Okay, yeah, give me 2d6 plus any stress die you might have.
Okay. Ooh, 2 5s,
Okay.
and then 1 stress die. 2.
Okay, so you're fine. So yeah, you succeed in this, and you're just like, you're walking and stabbing every time a crystal structure is like, here's a brain for me, ka-choosh, like right through it completely as it crumbles around your stinger, and it just keeps happening and happening. And you see your brother turn to you and is like, Corey, is that you? And you just like, and you look down at him and you're like, do you play along or do you like react to this?
I definitely like give him with my like multifaceted moth-like eyes. I tried to give him an eye roll, like, oh, for Pete's sake.
Okay.
And make that as clear as possible. Like,
okay. So he goes, oh no, oh, wait, Haru? Oh shit. And he looks at the flowers, looks at you, looks at the flowers, looks at you, puts them behind his back. Thank you for being here for me and helping me I'm just gonna go. Love you. See you at home. See you at dinner. Ah. He tries to run away from you. As he drops the flowers behind him, and you see the flowers on the floor, and it has like Corey with like a heart on the eye, and
No, I pick them up and with like my mandibles, I crunch, 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 and I like turn them into potpourri.
okay.
No, my flowers!
So we're gonna go back to the outside of this as Corey. You notice more and more of these things are landing, and you actually see people start flooding out of the gymnasium. But every time they do, you see one of these crystal structures exploding their heads and gathering their brains.
So wretched.
As you hear them going, brains, we need brains for the moon portal, brains, as...
Brains for the moon border.
And you quickly just see your cultural event is becoming an immediate disaster. So you take 1 point of inherent stress just from your cultural event failing.
I am going to psychic blast. Doesn't define what kind of psychic.
Okay.
Could it be telepathy, so that I send out a psychic thought to every crystal creature, and I convince them all, want brains? The brains are in the ocean. That's where you'll find all the brains.
Okay, yeah, sure, I like it. So give me 2d6 plus your stress die. This will be a harder check, but you can certainly do it.
Okay. So I just send out a psychic blast.
Yeah.
You guys want brains?
So 2d6 plus your stress die.
Alright, well my stress die is a 5. And
Good
a 6
there.
and a 5, baby!
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
fine. You guys are just gonna be pure kaiju this entire time. But you go like, you send this thought out like coming out from your head, and you see it like slowly like come out of your head and like go into each one of the crystal structures as they vibrate briefly. Just go, brains in the ocean, brains in the ocean, as they all like turn and start like moving towards the ocean one by one.
Just picture an Alakazam doing a fist pump.
Yeah, but you still see your cultural festival in ruins, and we'll go back to Haru already acted, so we're gonna skip Haru back to Eugenia.
Skip to Haru.
You see, it seems like the crystals are taken care of, but this cultural event is really struggling, so you can decide whether or not you want to help the cultural event or do something else in your kaiju form. You can just piss off if you really want. You're a kaiju. You can do whatever the hell you want.
If I help the cultural event, I have to do it in kaiju form.
Oh yeah, no matter what, you're in kaiju form until you revert back.
Wow, what aspect of the cultural event is struggling? Is it that people are hot, or
People
they're
are
bored,
dying. The place is being
Oh.
destroyed. People's brains have exploded. Weird crystal aliens have invaded. There's all your choice about what you're trying to solve, because it is just like
Dealer's choice.
you have to salvage this in some way, somehow.
That's fair. Have all the crystals left the gymnasium because of the ocean thing?
They're on their way out. Like they're getting there.
Brains
Alright.
in the ocean. Brains in the ocean.
Well, if I fly in there with my great and terrible wings, shooting my plasma gun, that's probably not going to help much. So I'm going to wait right
can
outside
certainly
the
try.
gymnasium.
Okay.
I'm going to like post up right outside the gymnasium, like kind of on top of it, looking out.
You have a gun. You have wings. What was your third thing?
The carapace.
Yeah.
Gun
She's
carrot.
protective.
Armor.
I'm thinking I might just smoke them on the way out of the gymnasium.
Sure. Give me a 2d6 so that you can just kind of like control burst these things as they come out.
Let's see, a 5
2d6.
and a 4.
Okay. Any stress die? I don't think you do
I
anymore.
still, not anymore.
I don't. Well, you when you went to
I had
Kaiju,
to.
did you get 2 from Kaiju?
No, I don't have kaiju stress.
Yeah, that's
right,
the thing.
never
So you have
mind.
nothing right now. So once you revert, you get rid of all your stress. So you're collecting
Cool.
new stress now. So yeah, you just as they come out, you like kind of low beam energy, just after just like one off killing these things, intermittent of the people running else around them. And Polly, you're up now. It seems like the crystal aliens are slowly being taken care of one by one. They seem less of a threat. But you also notice there's like school buses coming in for the all-state. Wait, I gotta make sure I get the name right. The all-state climbing competition. Everyone from the counties or everyone from the state is busting themselves in for this big competition that that Jenna has been training for. And if they get turned away, then they might not get a chance to compete. And there's just one more thing to have to deal with now. As
all Jennifer's hard work.
five kaiju are now just in and around this school, fighting, duking it out. Stuff's on fire. People's heads are exploding, and you now see like these buses of like all these rock climbers who's like, we're gonna climb, yeah, fist bump, you know.
Okay. Well, I know this means a lot to Jennifer. So I can't do anything to help the culture festival because I'm a giant freaking praying mantis.
Culture.
So culture,
Snap.
But I will attempt to protect the buses from the onslaught of the leaving crystal brain exploders with my body.
Yep. Roll me 2d6 and your stress die.
Oh no. I got a 4 and a 1, and then on my stress die I got a 3.
So you get another stress die, so you're up to 2 stress die now. So you fail. So you pray mantis your way over, and you try to shield these buses from the fleeing crystals. But as you're going, you step down, you explode a bus with one leg. You're like, shit! You go over to the other leg, step down on another bus. Oh crap! And you try to shield them. You feel like 1 or 2 hit you, but then another few fly underneath your carapace and hit the bus.
Making it worse.
And you're like,
I'm bad at
no, oh no! And you're like, you feel like a bus hit your leg. You're like, shit, sorry.
Oh, no.
And
I'm just
so
picturing those
you're
two
now
guys in
like,
Monsters,
Jennifer, you got a better chance now.
yeah, you're dancing in between these buses, but you're like almost like Keystone Cop style. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. So now we're gonna go back to Jenna. Jenna, inside the auditorium, it seems like things are going okay. And the one crystal structure in your hand is all of a sudden very fixated on getting to the ocean. But you're sitting there going, wait a minute, my all-state climbing competition is supposed to be starting soon. What's going on? What's going on out there with that? And you could either let go of the crystal structure, or you can keep it in your hand to kind of control them.
Jenna's just gonna crush it in her
hand,
and then just
that you crush it, and you spider your way underneath, upside down along the ceiling, and then go out through a door.
And then Jenna is going to over the top of the roof because she was hanging out of the hole anyway.
Okay.
Just head over to the buses.
That's right,
and Jenna's just gonna stop this whole mess by pointing her thorax at the line of buses that are getting kicked around, and just nightmare spore all of them, so that they take a nice little half-hour nap. And it's not going to be a very pleasant nap, but they'll all go to sleep, and we can clean all this crap up, and then when they wake up, it'll be all good. That's the plan.
This was a nightmare.
Yeah. Give me
just a bad dream
that you all shared.
2d6 plus your stress die.
Here comes the mass hysteria, ladies and gentlemen. The big stuff. 3 and a 3, and on my stress die, I rolled a 1.
Ooh.
Okay, so you fail.
It took you the longest to become a kaiju, and you're the first one.
To
the
go out.
last
First
one
one
to
to
go
bump
out.
out.
The least amount of time in kaiju form. I feel robbed.
So not only do you fail, you thrust your thorax at the school of buses. You're going here comes the nightmare. And as you do that, you realize now, all in a moment, you're like, wait a minute. you're just sticking your butt out at a bunch of buses, and you're waving it around as you're now, like, each one of these buses is pulling up in front of the school, and they're just looking out to see Jennifer just like, like weaving your butt around at them as you're all of a sudden realize, I am not a kaiju anymore.
Ha!
You're just mooning
Gonna-
them at this point.
Yeah, Jennifer decides to lean into it and just like, ha! Sacred Heart's gonna kick your butts. Look
There
at
you go,
look
that
at
works,
these,
that
check
works.
check out these glutes. I'm a better climber than you. Oh
That
man.
is such a cat thing. It's like, I meant to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it.
I'm into
Okay.
it. I'm into it.
So, Haru, you are now inside the school. Your brother has basically fled from you.
As he
and
should.
as he should. And you seems like everything is settled right now. But you're gonna pitter patter flap your way outside of the school, and you now see Jennifer looking up at you, panicked like as you're sitting there going, we need to salvage this somehow. They're not gonna continue with the All-State Climbing Championship if there's all this there's a wall of fire, there's holes in roofs. The main sporting the main sporting complex that this is happening in has a hole through the ceiling of it. Like, there's so many things that need to be fixed right now in order to like maybe salvage this day. What do you think Haru's gonna try, or your kaiju form's gonna try to do to salvage some of it?
Haru is going to try to fly, fly along the moat of fire that I made.
Okay.
Excuse me, and use like the wind from my wings to try to out the fire.
Okay.
And with any amount of luck, it will end up looking like a control burn. Like this is supposed to happen.
It's supposed to happen. Okay, give me 2d6, and just remember, if you ever want to add stress die, you can. But roll me 2d6, and then
A
your stress
4
die.
5,
So you succeed, and then your stress die.
a 2, and a 1.
There it is. So you succeed in this. So you start flying around your giant moat of fire. You're like, okay, put it out. And you like get around it, and you're like, it's like all singed turf and grass. Like some of it was actual grass, some of it was turf, just so that they make the school look pretty. And you're like, okay, that's gonna, whoop, as you fall flat on the turf in your schoolgirl form, and you're like, oh shit. As you're now back to being Haru, and you're outside of the school in a very precarious spot where you shouldn't be if someone catches you. And you're like, oh no, there's still stuff going on. And you start like, ah. So we're now gonna go back to Coriander. I'm gonna put the last set of music on because I spent hours picking this shit out, and I'm gonna make sure you hear every single one of these things. Even though you didn't hear the culture stuff, that's fine. So, we go back to Coriander. The fire is out. The buses have arrived, but the gymnasium, or the complex where this climate competition is supposed to happen is minorly destroyed.
Okay.
You would think that the best way to salvage this is either sell it off or repair it. Maybe get like the climbing portion of the gymnasium that they're going to be climbing on for this competition. Maybe fix that, make it better, do something. But your goal now is to try to figure out how to salvage this competition.
Okay. I am going to use my malevolent hovering to hover debris and move it out of the way, like clear it, so people have access to the climbing gym. And then I'm also gonna pile the debris so it looks like a climbing structure.
Okay. So roll me 2d6 plus your stress die.
Okay. All right. a 3 and a 6, and my stress die is a 6.
Okay, so you do succeed in this. You manage to levitate and control in place everything in such a way where it just looks like a new obstacle. It looks like a different style of mountain. They like, like people might look at it and be like, okay, that handhold goes there. That's different. Like it's not like regulation, but maybe this is like a new thing just for the championship, so that no one could have trained on it. It's complete, unique, and experimental, man. It's different. And
I'm totally fucking running with it.
You're right there. You're like they're here and you're here. You're like way ahead of them. And let's see. So
I'm gonna look for Jennifer and just be like,
transformed. Yeah. So Jennifer, you look over and you see this giant Alakazam just like.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Jennifer is gonna eat a bug and then beat everyone to the top.
Okay. So we have Polly and Eugenia still have to act in their kaiju form. So do you wish to try to help out Jenna in some way? Do you wish to try to take care of something with like the school? Do you wish to try to settle something of your secrets? What do you think your character would like to do in this like last moment as a kaiju? Maybe like the last chance that they have to do something.
I will.
We'll go with Polly. Yep, go.
Try and intimidate the other climbers by taking my my little scyther claws and going.
Okay, so roll me 2d6 plus your stress die if you have any.
Okay, I have 2 stress die.
Okay.
But I'm gonna roll 2 extra stress die.
Do it.
Okay, so I rolled a 1 and a 3 on my normal die.
Okay.
And I rolled on my stress die 4, 4, 5, and 6.
So
Jesus
you
Christ.
succeed because of your stress die. So you are selling it. Like you're like up over the stadium and you're like moving like back and forth and like snapping your claws whenever someone gets too close, or your pincers or your blades whenever they get too close, like you snap in front of them and they have to like walk through that to get to the door, and you're just going back and forth and back and forth. You're like, man, I know this is like the Sacred Heart play mantises, but this is a little much. Don't you think this is like right over the top for an animatronic? Like this is bullshit, like I'm all for mascots and whatever, but like this is some bullshit. And you
Animatronics.
yeah, like you play it off in such a way that they are just like, they are fully outwitted and unformed by this because of you're selling this off and trying to get them to not do well in their competition. Then Eugenia, with your last thing as a kaiju, what would you like to try to do in this whole scenario or in this situation, whether it's something that's already been taken care of or something else completely? We're gonna go with Eugenia. Yeah.
Eugenia, hit me.
Hit you?
Oh, no. Stay in kaiju form. I have an idea. Stay in kaiju form.
Okay.
Tori, I have an idea.
So, Eugenia, what would you like to do in kaiju form if you're like your last thing you do?
Is there a way to can I force myself back into human mode?
mean,
I would
you
say
can
for this, we're
press
about to
yourself.
end, that you could just like build up stress to the point where you like whoop, 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 and you like revert
So
back
then
down.
I could technically like add like maximum stress.
Yeah,
and
you
hope
can
I
just
get a
keep
1.
rolling until eventually you burst or something like that. But yeah, sure.
Okay,
We'll say for this, you go back down to human form.
Okay, cool. Well, before I humanize, I would like to fly over to where Haru is.
Okay.
And then I would like to like land and humanize as I land, and then I would like to tell her, hey, I just wanted you to know that like, yeah, I hooked up with everybody because I'm liberated and it's fashion. And like I actually did really want to hook up with you, but I thought that you didn't think I was fashion, and that's my art, and I'm really serious about it, and I was scared and self-conscious, but like I'm obsessed with you, and I just wanted you to know.
Aww. And is at that moment you're like, this would have been the perfect time for that kiss. Oh crap, I already kissed Polly.
Then Polly humanizes. What's happening?
And you're just like, yeah. Haru.
It's that like darked out forehead and eyes with like the stress.
Yeah.
Yes.
First one to Kaiju, last one to Kaiju.
The OG.
And with that, we will sunset this group off with the three of you being held up by Corey. Do you think you would stay in Kaiju 4 or you would eventually go back down?
Oh, I had an idea to win the climbing competition.
Tell me, Jennifer, what was
Go
your
for it.
idea?
Yeah, go for it.
So Jennifer runs up to Corey in Alakazam form. Hey, when you were talking shit behind my back, it really hurt my feelings. And I feel like that's not what friends do. But I want to forgive you because I value our relationship and our history. So you can make it up to me if you psionically project me kicking all of these people's asses to all of your followers worldwide.
Yeah, she says the phone is like a millimeter comparatively to her size. Just like, like
Oh no,
No,
psionically projected.
oh, psionically. That's yeah, you can do that. So yeah, so
Things are
My
possible
phone
with
is a
real
Yeah.
power.
conduit.
so we will sunset this group into it with
Jennifer
like
is the best.
yeah, Haru and Eugenia figuring out what they are. Polly finally feeling like a part of this group as she helps out.
It's definitely Haru in the middle, holding Eugenia's hand on one side and Polly's on the other.
There you go. Yeah, I love it. As Polly is still just
Haru
like,
has
I don't
two
know what
hands.
this is. Like,
I don't know what's happening.
Eugenia's way into it, and Polly's just like,
What's
Yeah.
going on?
and you're all in the stands watching Jennifer just like whoop every person in this competition, just like Spider-Manning her way all the way up the competition, ringing that championship bell, and just like, ah, and then black screen appears as we close off on this lovely adventure of Kaiju Girls, and we will wrap up for today.
Hey,
That was awesome. That couldn't have gone any better
So
in
many
my
ways.
opinion. And
So many
so
ways.
what I like to do with my streams is I usually like to end with favorite moments. So what I want to do is I want everyone's favorite moments from both one-shots. So I'm gonna go in random order. So Huzo, what was your favorite moment from both of those? It could be from your character, it could be from someone else's character. What do you think was your favorite moments?
Just hands down for the first one was Lux's entrance period.
Yep.
Just hands down. And then from the second one, just everything about Haru. Just
There you go.
Everything. The entirety of the character.
The entirety of Haru.
Okay,
Made
and
me happy.
Taylor, what was your two favorite moments?
I'm gonna go with meeting the Rift Lord in the
Yep.
first game, because that sent me,
That's set the toe.
in
Yep.
like many ways, and then I'm gonna go with a tie between finding out that Eugenia gets around, which felt very exciting. And,
She didn't,
and
yeah,
then-
because that was the secret. Eugenia had no idea that's what that was, and then Ray just was like, bitch, and just like dropped it in the first
that
couple
was
minutes.
very exciting. And then the moment where like Ben started throwing around bitch, and I was like, whoa, why am I getting so into this? I have to fight immediately.
Yeah. Well, if you ever want to see a full-length season of Kaiju Girls, yeah. Anyway, so we'll move forward with Corey, Ander, or Washu. What were your two favorite parts?
Definitely in Kaiju Girls, I enjoyed when just like we went from 0 to 60.
Oh yeah,
And
like,
then
I was surprised.
immediately, and then we went immediately back to 0 because like we were all having a bitch fit, went in our separate ways, and then somebody was mean to Baby, and it was just
Oh yeah,
all of us
every-
like gathered
poof.
around Baby.
Yeah.
So I see.
That was
I
magic.
see Spookums, you know, where it's like, yeah, when we were getting super into it, but then I also like that we brought it back. Like,
Yeah.
nobody puts Baby in the corner. So I liked how we all got back into it. And then I perfectly turned into Kaiju at the perfect moment.
Yeah,
That was
I
it. That
loved.
was it.
Yeah, I loved how I didn't have to
Um,
use any of my dedicated moments to bring out secrets because they were just all there. I was just like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
all right,
We
well,
were throwing secrets.
I don't have to do this anymore. That was
We
awesome.
were like, oh, I washed my hands of that.
Yeah,
For the first one, it's a tough one because there's so many good ones in the first one. I think it's gonna have to be Bash and Rosamund's kind of like bacon moment. The two of them were having a bacon
Shadow
moment where
bacon
she's like,
sandwich.
"What? Can I have a bacon and a shadow and a?"
Yeah, shadow bacon sandwich.
And where Bash is like, "Yeah, he gets it."
Ray, your 2 favorite moments.
In Sexy Battle Wizards, it was all of Lux's entrance. Like that whole thing was just like,
Oh yeah, it was
just chef's kiss, so good. And I also just love Bash as an individual. That anytime they open their mouth, they're like, "Well,
well, hell."
Bacon.
It tickled me just all the way down.
One ab, just one.
Just
One.
one.
Regular ab.
One.
Yeah.
And then
Like
Kaiju
a
Girls.
yeah. Like a power lifter or a strong man.
They all just like moved together.
Yeah.
The belly.
They made one
So,
big ass
and
ab.
then Kaiju Girls, I'm not gonna lie, it was just a lot of fun to be pretty and cute and dumb. Like, I don't ever
funny.
get to play characters like that. There's always something more cerebral going on, so that was fun too.
Oh yeah, very surface level, which is great. And last but not least, Ben, what were your 2 favorite moments?
Sexy Battle Wizards. I really appreciated how Bash casted spells just by shouting animal things as loud as he could. That was just it's a big cat. It's very funny to me.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Ow. Woo.
I also really liked Rosamund as a character. That was a really fun subversion of, like, it's already a subversive game, and then Washu is like, I'm gonna subvert it even more. We're gonna go one layer deeper. It was lovely. In Kaiju Girls, my favorite part was definitely the argument at the beginning, but that's already been used. So my supplementary favorite part is the fact that Atomic was surprised that was gonna happen. You gave all of us
I know.
dirt on each other, and you didn't
I
think
know.
that shit was gonna come out immediately.
Well,
Come on, my
I
man.
forgot who I was working with. Like, I just had a plan in case. I'm like, well, I need to make sure these secrets come out in case people don't want to get there. I was just like, as soon as you all sit down, you're just like, I'm taking off my earrings, I'm taking off my weave, taking off my rings.
happening?
Listen here, bitch. It's like,
Putting Vaseline
Like,
on your cheeks.
yeah, you're
oh,
like,
yeah.
You're just
I
like,
have one
oh,
secret, which is like, I'm dating your brother, but that's it. That was my one secret
yeah,
that I had.
yeah, and that didn't come up. I actually thought about having the brother walk by, but I was waiting to do it at the culture fair. And I felt like, well, they still might be schoolgirls at that point, so I'll save it. But no, you all went Kaiju quickly. So I'm like, all right, well, she figures it out somehow. But yeah,
But also Atomic as all the mean girls.
oh yeah,
my
it
God,
was
yeah,
perfect.
great.
So mean.
Yeah.
That was
yeah,
so good.
So mean.
that was so much
Yeah.
fun.
Turns were like
I love.
It was between the mean girls and the teacher. I was like, well, first of all, that professor is now everyone's nemesis.
Oh yeah, everyone hates him.
That's episode 2, guys. See,
Yeah, that's
episode
episode 2.
2, Kaiju Girls.
I had a lot of
Episode
stuff.
2, we find out he's a kaiju.
I had a principal prepared, a vice president, principal,
You
a
were
lunch,
ready,
a
baby.
a lunch lady, and a janitor, just in case. You never know. But like,
Listen,
in my favorite
okay,
things,
if we had a friendship
yeah,
breakup, our friendship reunion is to get back at that
Yeah,
bullshit teacher.
that would be hilarious. But I loved how in Wizards, how like Bash and Lux were kind of like the Rift Lords, like love children, but in other people. Like, because Lux was kind of like the gothic side of it, and like kind of the heavy metal, like broody side of it, and then Bash just had like the Rift Hammer, so it was kind of like they were. So it was like there was this like, weird like juxtaposition of like both sides of them, and yeah, I just have to give it for like the immediate drama and shade of Kaiju Girls. That was just like it was just too good. Like I'm like, you know what? They'll start talking. I'll put in one obstacle of like Mean Girls so that they have something to work on, get some roles going. Before
You had
they even,
too many folk. Nope, you
Yeah.
had too many folk here who were teenage girls.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like immediately, before that even ended, it was going. I was like, oh damn! I was just like, oh, it was awesome. I couldn't. This is so much fun, and this was great. If we ever have another one of these lovely little moments for one shots or for charity
It felt real
streams,
good.
we can do
I
part
love
2s,
interpersonal
part
games.
3s.
I
We
love
can just see where this
interpersonal
goes.
games. So
It
great.
felt so nice for once to be the teenage girl on the outside of the drama who was just like,
Yeah. So, just real
We're
quickly,
really
we have,
owning that.
yeah, we have a few minutes. What was everyone's general opinions on these one-pagers? Because I know they're pretty light, they're pretty rules iffy. But what was everyone's general appeal? Did you like either of them? Is there things you would change? Would you play them again? What everyone's feel?
So
I liked the feeling. It felt like there was a clock in Kaiju Girls. Like,
yeah.
as the stress is slowly building up, like, you know, one of them's gonna ping, and then everything's gonna, like, you could use that mechanic in a less, frankly, ridiculous way and come up with some really interesting stuff. Like, in this case, it's designed to, like, the whole thing is supposed to get upended and go totally wild off the, but like, you could do something like that in like a Blades of the Dark setting or whatever else, and you would get some other interesting effects. I don't know. It was a really simple way to just sort of have a clock running in the background.
Okay.
I
Ray,
thought
what do you
that was
think?
cool, too.
Yeah.
I like any supplement that's like this because there's a lot of people who fall into playing TTRPGs and they get real caught up in like the mechanics and they never really get to experience the role playing part of it. So I really
Yes.
like games like this where you're like, no, there's literally no rule, you just have to make it up. So it's fun. Like that's what I like about playing is the role playing part. So it's not hard for me, but I like people being able to see this and see how easy it is and be able to maybe expose some players who need a little like practice with role playing to something that has, you know, like bumper lanes, but it gives them a pretty big sandbox. And the other thing is to help DMs who are like rule lawyers to relax a little bit because it's rules light and you have to learn how to like rule of cool it. And I get that, like, especially if you're new, like clinging on to the Dungeon Master book is like very important, but this is a nice way to like cut your teeth and kind of get okay with the chaos of things.
Shout out to Atomic and him running with some of our suggestions. Like, can I aid them? Like, that's not a rule that's in the book,
Yeah,
but he was
it just
like,
made
sure,
sense.
let's, you know.
Yeah, it
So
made sense.
I always appreciate it when I have a DM that like I throw something at them and they're like, sure, let's go
Right.
for it. You know.
That was actually such a good ad hoc ruling with the assists in
I
Sexy
think it
Battle
made
Wizards.
sense.
Like that it could have been
was so good.
been on the one pager. That was a really good ad hoc.
Where it's like, hey, roll for this, and if you get a 6, they get a 6. You know, they get a die. You know, it was great.
All right. The rest of you. So, Huza, do you have anything to add on to that, or anything else in terms of what you felt like for these one-pagers?
Honestly, no. I agree with Ray though. It really helps people settle into the idea that RP is what's important in a lot of these things. Like, the world is your oyster. Just settle into it and love it, and it'll love you back. It might not be in the way you think it did, but it did. Oh, it'll happen. Kaiju Girls was. I've never played a one pager like Kaiju Girls before. It was absolute insanity, and it was so much fun.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I loved it. Just how fast it could turn. Just the one on that stress die and boom.
Oh yeah, it was great. So then, watch
Yeah,
you.
it was
What,
fun.
anything else to add?
One pagers are a lot of fun. I agree with what everybody says. Is I'm a very much a I'm a role player. I'm a role first and the role player. So I really liked how this one was goosey. You know, that's always fun for me. I'm much more a fan of the can I do this? Sure. I love bullshit games
Yeah.
where you just have to
Oh.
kind of like come up with an excuse.
It's
They are
so much more
definitely that.
fun.
Yeah.
Because it's about the collaborative storytelling more than it is about, like, well, if you use it like this, if you're underground, if you're like, if you're medium, like that kind of stuff ruins the suspension of disbelief for me. So, like, you know, nothing feels more stiff than when you're like, this is literally just Diablo on paper. Like, we are obviously dungeon crawling. We're just gonna fight the 3 things and then move to the next room and fight the next 3 things. And like, I'm already on a podcast that we play like this. Like, we made our own system so that we could continually just like top and top and top and top and keep going and like create and build together and not have to like debate a rule for 10 minutes. And I mean, like, it's fun to do, but it's also a phenomenal way to like build relationships and learn about the people that you play with if you play
Absolutely.
long term, which is like kind of the coolest surprise part of it, I think.
Okay, well, thank you all for this. Thank you all for joining us and taking part in this lovely charity one-off stream here for Extra Life. We did get a couple more donations during that stream, so thank you very much for all those who donated. For anyone
Thank you
else
very
that's
much.
out there that's still in chat, we will be going live again at 8 o'clock, so 8 p.m. EST, for an extra special Tales from the Tavern with Gamer Mom Luna. That will be our finale for this lovely Extra Life charity extravaganza. Thank you all. I have been Atomic Zero. Joining me today is TT Benjamin, Way Mayhem, Who's a What's It, Washu Right, and I'm gonna say, is it Spookum? Spookism? Spookzem?
Oh.
Spookzum?
Book awesome, but Taylor
There it
works
is.
too.
There it goes. And Taylor. Thank you all. Thank you for joining us, and catch you later, guys.
Bye.